Today's guest is one of those people who somehow manages to do all the things and still do them really well. If you live in the Northern Hills, you probably know her as PeeDee Hanson, artist, business owner, community supporter, and the kind of human who will dress up for a local history event and then jump right back into whatever needs being done like it's no big deal. Her name is Alexandra Hanson, but PeeDee is the name everybody around here knows. She is a talented Western wildlife and landscape artist who has built businesses, supported local events, and continues to show up for this community in a really big way. What I love about PeeDee is that she represents something we do really well here. You do not have to pick one lane. You can be creative, entrepreneurial, community-minded, and still build a life you actually enjoy. Today, we're talking about art, business, risk, small-town life, and what it really takes to build something meaningful without losing yourself in the process. So grab your coffee, or maybe something stronger depending on what time of day it is, and let's get into it. Today we are joined by PeeDee or Alexandra Hanson. Which one do you prefer to go by now?
Honestly, I don't care. I just don't want people to have a meltdown about it. I feel like, so I was raised at PeeDee, like that was my childhood nickname. And then once I stepped into the professional art world, people started mistaking me as a man.
Oh, I didn't even know that
So,
about you.
yeah. And so I was like, oh, I should probably make the transition. So I switched over to my birth name, Alexandra, which feels very pretentious for someone that wears overalls 98% of the time. So then people started, they're like, well, what do you want to be called? I'm like, whatever makes your heart happy, as long as it's nice and kind.
Yeah.
So I really genuinely do not care.
Okay, I love that. I was always worried because at first I always knew you as PeeDee, and then you came out as Alexandra, and I was like, which one am I supposed to use now? And I was like, you know what? I'll just ask.
People had a meltdown about it. Do not have a meltdown about it. I'm happy. Yes.
Good. I'm sure sometime in life you've maybe been called worse.
So I have been.
To be called by your two names is perfect.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Alexandra, like, I'm a very fast talker, if anybody's listening or watching. And so sometimes I don't even pronounce my full name correctly anyways. So it's fine. If you want to shorten it or chop it off, PeeDee's also easy. So yeah.
I love it. And
yeah.
I'm sure, especially when you're doing like your sip and paints, I'm sure the kids really enjoy PeeDee.
Oh, they do.
It's just such a fun name and it matches your personality so much, I think.
Well, thank you.
I love it.
So. Well, when you come to one of my painting classes, you're stepping into PeeDee's positivity corner.
Yes.
And so that doesn't flow well with Alexandra's positivity corner.
Fair.
So I stuck with PeeDee because marketing, let's be real, and it just flows better. So yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we got that out of the way, and I can call you whatever I want to call you today.
Yes.
Not mess up.
Don't stress out.
We'll get to the questions. So for people who only know you as PeeDee, what is the story behind that name? Why did you get that name growing up?
Oh gosh. Okay, so it's like nothing like super exciting. So my biological parents, my father's name was Patrick and my mother's name was Deanna, and I rodeoed growing up. So I was a barrel racer, and so I no disrespect, I feel like the rodeo community has interesting names, is what I would say. My mother growing up, my bio mother, her name was Deanna. She went by Dee Dee growing up.
Okay.
And so they took the P from Patrick, put it on Dee Dee, and got a PeeDee. And they never called me Alexandra. The only few times I got called Alexandra was when I was in trouble.
I was
when I was in trouble. Yeah.
Probably.
So I rodeoed under the name PeeDee. I went to college under the name PeeDee. So like Alexandra's a very formal thing in the last couple of years. So yeah, there's no exciting origin story behind that. It's just a mashup between my two bio parents' names. So.
But it totally works and it fits because it really does, I think, fit your personality
to
have a fun name like that.
Oh,
so they always say that there's like something to a personality and a name.
Yes.
And I've never met another PeeDee, and I don't think I ever could meet anyone with your personality. Like I love it.
Well, thank you.
You're such a positive person. And
well, thank you.
I light up a room.
I've just learned that there is so much power in a name. So much power in a name. And I didn't really realize that until I started making a transition just professionally to Alexandra versus PeeDee. And that's like a whole other conversation. But it is something that's really, really powerful. So yeah, there's some cool things in that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. So when someone asks what you do, what is your favorite short answer?
Oh.
Put you on the spot.
So
if
I were just to meet someone, they're like, oh, so like, what do you do for a living? I'd just say I'm a professional wildlife artist or Western artist. And then if they were to ask, oh, like, what do you mean? I would say, well, I professionally do this. And then on the side, I also teach painting classes as well. So that'd be my shorthand, like not getting into the details of it if someone were to ask.
I love that. And kind of off topic, but I think it's really important what you do and that you've continued with those painting classes, because as we're seeing them pull more of the artistic and more of the music and stuff out of the classroom,
Mm.
it's so nice to have the art still available in our small tight-knit community. And you're
Mhm.
amazing at what you do, and you're so good with the kids. Like I mean, I remember having art teachers grow up, and I mean, if you were my art teacher, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Oh, that makes my heart so warm.
Because you
Thank
just did a sip
you.
and paint with one of my sons.
Oh, was he in the 5th grade?
He was,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
And he
Oh.
came home and he's like, "Look what I did. It was so much fun." And I was like, "Did you do that with PeeDee?" Because I was almost going to be mad that the school cheated.
Oh.
I was going to be like, and
Wait
he
a
goes,
second.
"Yes."
Oh, wait, so whose class is he in? Is he Mrs.
Um,
Beershanks, Anderson, Stump, or Raba?
Beer shake.
Beershake. Oh, she's amazing. Yes, I love her.
And you would probably know my son. We've been joking around with him lately. He just decided he wanted to bleach his hair, right? So me being
Oh.
the mom I am, I'm like, sure, whatever. So I went to bleach his hair and it turned out kind of like orangish. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
it's okay. I just have to tone it.
We
And
just
he's
gotta
like,
tone it.
no, mom, I love it. And I'm
Oh,
like,
you love it, then I
oh,
love it. Love
yeah,
that for
good.
you.
Yep, good for you. I love it. And so like his brother coined him the name Timu Eminem.
Oh.
Because he's still got his brown eyebrows, but he's
Oh.
got like this like orangish bleached hair and he loves it. And I'm just like, I love that he's got the confidence to say, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. I'm just going to rock it.
I like it.
Yep. And
Yep.
so like it kind of made me think of you with your personality. And you're
Oh.
like, I'm just going to be who I am and I love it. And so
Let
when
it
he came
be.
home with that the other day, I was like, oh, I'm so glad that you got to meet PeeDee. Like,
Oh, what a sweetie.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So he's in Mrs. Beershank's class. Okay. I
Yep.
know. I think he sat in the front. Does he have curly hair?
Not really curly, but kind of like
Poofy on the
and
top.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know exactly where he was sitting.
Yeah,
So
coarse
yeah.
hair.
Course,
And,
yeah.
yep, bright blue eyes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I know
That's
exactly who your
mine.
kiddo is then. Yes.
One
Oh,
of mine.
it's so fun. The kiddos are something so special about teaching children because they don't overthink it.
Exactly.
Girlfriend, we agonize over
Yes.
every little brushstroke. And those kids, I'm like, okay, paint a circle. They're like, circle, done.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I wish I could go through life with just that. Just that. I'm just so confident in my decisions that there's no repercussions for what I do. I'm just gonna do it.
And we don't have to like strive for perfection when we're
No.
kids. And they're just like, yeah, I love it.
Through the eyes of babes, it's so special.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I love that you keep doing that.
Oh, thank you.
So what do you want people to feel when they hear your name around town? Because you
Ooh.
have a lot of different facets. And so like I know when I hear your name, I could rapid fire 5 things, but I want to know what you want people to think when they think of you.
Honestly, here's the thing I want them to feel positivity. I want them to feel safety. I want them to feel safe. I want them to feel they can be truly authentic themselves around me. I want them to, like, when they think of my name or hear my name, I hope they just feel comfort or a sip of hot cocoa on a cold day. Like, honestly, I just really, that's what I hope people leave when they leave one of my painting classes, that they feel loved, safe, comfortable, and they can truly be authentic to who they are.
I love that.
That's what I would want. If they were to think of me, that's what I would want.
And I honestly believe that when you walk into a room, that's exactly
Oh.
what you portray. Like,
I hope so. Like, I genuinely hope so. That is like my whole mission in life.
yeah, you just light up a room. You've got a beautiful smile, and just the way that you treat people is just,
Oh,
you just remind me of like the perfect Christian woman, I
Oh.
guess.
Far from perfect.
We all are far from perfect, but that's what you
Oh.
really encompass those morals, and that you love and accept everyone for who they are, and that you are giving to the community and things like that. So
Come to the
that's-
table.
yeah.
That's my motto. Come to the table.
Yep.
Come to the table with a broken heart. Come to the table angry. I have people that they come to my classes, they start crying or they're angry. I'm like, get those feelings out.
Yeah.
Like in art therapy, someone's like, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm so sorry. They're like, I'm just painting a bear. I'm like, you're not just painting a bear. You're going on a journey. And I'm so happy to be here with you. So let's just work through those emotions. So that's just come to the table.
I
Yeah.
love that about you.
Oh, thank you.
When did you first realize that art wasn't just a hobby, that it was actually part of who you are?
Oh, okay. So I, from like a young age, wanted to be an artist. There was 2 things I want. So if you were to ask me, you ask like 3 and 4-year-olds, what do you want to be when you grow up, firefighter, whatever. It was always a doctor or an artist. And I've always really been artistically inclined since a small child. And then I actually went to school for art. So I rodeoed for Oklahoma State and started my art career down there, or my art journey. And then I made it through all the gen eds and all the things. And my advisor's like, okay, you got to pick a path here. And I was like, well, I just want to do art for a living. Like, why can't I just do that? And she says, you will starve there's not a world for that for you. You can either be an art teacher or you can go into graphic design. That's the way the world is going. And I was like, well, I don't want to teach. Funny how life works out. Never say never.
Because you're so good at it.
Never say never. God has a funny way of doing that. I also said never marry my husband, and here we are. And then I also just didn't want to sit at a desk all day. And so I dropped out of college. And then I went into business marketing, and I said, I was like, well, this is a joke. And then I went and I dropped out of college and started my own businesses and went on that journey. And then COVID hit. And there's so much stuff that happens with COVID, and I needed an outlet.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick up my paintbrush again. And at first, all my pieces were super abstract and super loose, which I'm sort of type A. And so that's very different for me. But I think it allowed me to like let go of the perfectionism. And then from there, it just flourished. And I had my coffee shops, I had my tap house. And then I was in Denver for 26 days with my art at the Denver Stock Show. And I kid you not, we were in the process of building our third location for our coffee shop. And I was driving down I-25, and clear as day, like a voice was in the vehicle with me and said, sell everything and pursue art, basically. And I've never felt such a calm peace come over me. And I immediately called site and said, hey, I'm walking into the show right now. I need you to stop production on the third location, call our real estate agent, and please let them know that we're going to be selling everything. He goes, beg your finest pardon. I was like, is it a God thing? I was like, I really need you to trust me on this. And he's like, okay. And then everything just rolled seamlessly from there. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but it's kind of the journey of like doing it, not doing it, doing it, and then committing to it. So yeah.
I love that. And I love that you touched on the tap house and the coffees, because we are getting into that.
Oh, okay, cool. A whole other chapter of my life.
Yes. So what did you make early on that surprised you? Like, wow, I might actually be really good at this art thing.
Oh, shoot.
Was there a specific painting or a specific teacher that was like, oh my gosh, I see talent in this? Was there anything like that?
Oh gosh, no. So I went to art school thinking I was the bee's knees, and I realized very early on that I was not the bee's knees, because a lot of these students were coming from private schools and private charter schools with very intense programs and very intense art programs. So where I thought I was jumping in already ahead of the curve, I was way behind the curve. And honestly, art school was really great for me because I had to grow up really fast. I had the competition, and that really made me a better artist. I would never say that I had a professor that was like, you're great at this. And I don't know if I've ever had a moment where I'm like, there was never an aha moment for me. I think it's a place that I can escape where the world truly goes quiet and true peace like washes over me. And I think that's the closest I'll ever feel to heaven. And for me, I think that was all the confirmation I needed that's what I needed to do. There was no specific painting. There was no award that I received. There's no show I got into that really made me feel that. It was just peace, really.
I love that. And as someone who I don't know the first thing about art, I can barely draw a stick figure. We actually had a family friend's daughter who was in one of those art programs at the charter school.
Mm-hmm.
And she would come home and I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so talented.
So good.
This is fabulous. And she's like, I got a D on that. And I'm like,
what
are they judging? Like, I don't understand. I was like, you're in like 6th grade and you have this beautiful art
talent
that I wouldn't imagine even like a 40-year-old who's been doing this for decades to be able to do, and you got a D on this.
Oh yeah.
So obviously there's something to it I don't understand.
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, to me it was just heartbreaking because she was so passionate about art and she just kept coming home just defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And to me it was just like they just broke her little spirit, and she ended up not pursuing art in life. And so I hope that she can come around and find that, at least that creative outlet to kind of shut the world off for her, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Whether she makes a career out of it or not. She actually just graduated with a political, I think it was political science major
good for her,
from Orlando. So
very
smart, great girl. But I really hope that she at least just doesn't put it down.
No, art is one of those gifts that just always lies dormant in your soul until you're ready to pick it back up again. And I'm totally believe that. And are you recording this? Yes. Okay, I'm looking into the camera. Don't ever give up art. Don't listen to the critics. And do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. Like I can't stress that enough because I see so much talent that gets put to the wayside, and there's a very dark and mean side to the art world, and it chewed me up and spit me out 2 years ago professionally, and I realized that I needed to get really grounded to be able to be in this profession, and then I realized how many people, their art will never see the light of day because they believed what the world had to tell
Yes.
them. And that's just that's not art supposed to be. So if you could encourage her, encourage that. And also don't listen to anybody else.
And I love that you share that message because, as we're starting to see, and I mean, this is honestly like a blessing that happened over COVID in my eyes,
Yeah.
anyways, is that, we all kind of, we ended up gravitating online, which
Mhm.
can be a blessing and a
Oh,
curse.
absolutely.
But to see artists like even Jelly Roll, who,
Yeah.
because let's face it,
Mhm.
he was very overweight,
Mhm.
highly tattooed,
Mhm.
was nothing that any probably label would have been like, I want this person up there. Because let's be honest, sex sells.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's nobody that anyone would have probably like looked at and been like, yep, you're gonna
You're
land
gonna be
this
the next big
audition.
thing. You're gonna be the
Exactly.
you're gonna be the item. Yep.
And so
Mhm.
now when social media popped off, people have
Mm.
so many more opportunities,
So
to
much.
let your art or your music or whatever it is reach
Mhm.
worldwide.
Mhm.
It's no longer if your teacher didn't think that you're good,
Yep.
you can't continue.
There's no longer
You
that
just,
niche pocket.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can just ignore that teacher and just continue to push forward. And I love that about at least that was one good thing
Oh,
that happened during
absolutely. There's so many good
COVID.
things that happened from COVID, and
For
I think
sure.
definitely opened opportunities for young artists for sure, and I love that. Or not even young artists or emerging artists or just anybody that wanted to pick back up whatever discipline it is that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was a good thing, I think.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm definitely not an artist, but I do like to go play, is what I
Oh,
call
yes,
it.
as you should, as you should.
And mine's usually like textured art. For some reason, I'm really into
Yeah,
textured art. I can't paint, like
love
I said,
that.
even a stick figure, but
Oh no, but your soul knows, and it should just be play. It should always be play, honestly. And as adults, we should take more time for play.
we really should.
Honestly,
Honestly,
so
like,
good for the soul.
yeah, it
Mhm.
just, you can shut off the world and just go out there. As a matter of fact, I got a project I got to work on tonight. I'll have to
Oh,
send you a picture of it when I
send me a
get done
picture of
because
it. Yes.
it's for the kiddos. So
Oh,
yeah,
they're gonna love it.
yeah. Well, if it turns
It's gonna turn out, and
out.
even by your standards, if it doesn't, still send it to me because I want to see it.
I will. I'm excited for it. Okay, so moving on. Sorry, we got a little off topic there, but I thought that was important. So you're known for Western wildlife and
Mhm.
landscape.
Mhm.
What pulls you towards that specific subject matter?
I think my roots, just growing up in rodeo and being, from a ranch, I think that's naturally where I gravitate to, and that's a story I know how to tell. And so I can't tell the story, a European story. I can't tell, a story of the past. My heart's not drawn to that, and so I just paint what I know, and that's really what speaks to me.
I love that. I've
Mhm.
seen some of your art and it is just gorgeous. I'm
Oh,
like, how does she even like remember? Because, me, if I was even trying to put something together, I'd be like, I'd have to look right in front of me at it.
to be able to, yep.
And I'm sure that it just comes in your mind from being surrounded by that atmosphere for so
Mhm.
long.
Well, it's like any muscle. You have to develop it, right? And
Yes.
so, in college, I hated painting. I wanted to be a charcoal or graphite artist, and I was really good at drawing. And then now, as an adult, I was adult then, but as you grow
Right.
up and mature, I'm now painting and sketching less. But I had to hone those skills to be able to do that. So it's like anything in life. You have to. I'm sure in your
Practice.
business too, you have to practice those muscles, those business
Yeah.
muscles, the art muscles to get good at what you're doing.
So
So.
would you say that you have more photographic mind or
Oh, absolutely not.
no?
Oh,
Okay.
no. Oh,
I was
goodness,
just
no. I need
curious.
so much reference material. I need to
Okay.
sketch things over and over again. I need to zhuzhify things. No, I do not have that gift. Some artists do, and I love that for them, but that is not me.
Yeah, gotta
I
work
know
a
my
little harder.
weaknesses. And it's fine. We just pivot.
I love it. What is the difference between making art for yourself and making art for a client?
Ugh. I'd be so honest for you. I love making art for myself. And I'm so appreciative of my clients. And in your business, I'm sure as well, you find the perfect client. And
Yes.
sometimes it takes many years to find what your perfect client is and when to say no to people. So when I jumped into this, I was getting clients all over the place. And I was really hating my life doing this stuff, really loving doing this. So I had to kind of niche down and be like, okay, my ideal client is someone that gives me full reign.
Mm-hmm.
I just get to walk into their house and they tell me what size of canvas they want, but then tell me I can do whatever I want. I found that I don't create well under pressure when people say, okay, I want this sunset, this many bison, this landscape, this whatever, or whatever it may look like. Uh, I don't do well being put in a box. I do much better when I'm given I mean,
A
sorry for the
guideline.
pun, but like a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I can see how you style your home. I can see how you design your home. I can work with your interior designer and say, okay, what's the feel we're going for this specific room? Awesome. I can nail that. I have something in my head and I can pitch 3 ideas that I'm going to enjoy versus them giving me my ideas. So, and if that process doesn't work for a client, perfect. I'm not the artist for you. And I want you to enjoy the process just as much as I do. So I'm going to refer
Absolutely.
a few other artists to you that I think will be a good fit. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
The world
100%.
is big enough for all of us,
Yep.
and we all can be successful. I have a list of artists that I refer people to for very specific clients. So, yeah.
I love that. And it's the same thing, I think, in any industry, just
Yeah.
even in real estate. It's like, I'm not the perfect client for everybody, which is
No.
perfect because, quite honestly, there's no way I would remotely be able to help every single person in this town if there was
Yep.
no other real estate agent.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you have to really love and enjoy the
Right.
process. So you really want to work with that person that you like their personality, you like everything about them because it really is. It's a big process.
Oh,
And
yeah. And I'm so glad I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
yeah,
I'm so glad. And because,
of course not, because we're champagne, right?
yeah, life's too short, but there's too many of us. How boring would life be if we were all the same, same shape, same everything? So it's not the way life works, and so I want to find my people, and I know my people are just a very specific group of people.
Yeah.
Because I want to enjoy them, I want them to enjoy me, and also I want them to appreciate what I do bring to the table versus just someone saying, "Ah, I'll buy the piece of artwork." No, I'm like, that's a piece of my soul.
Yeah.
Like, I really need you to know that this is a piece of my soul. So,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
I think people kind of, some people I think are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you could love art that much. And then some people are just like, oh, it's just something on the wall.
Yeah.
And then to me, like, I look at art and I always like to see like a memory or a
Yeah.
reason behind it, tattoos, same thing.
Same thing.
Believe it or not, I went to a tattoo artist and I was like, I want flowers on my arm. And she goes, I don't actually do just because tattoos. So if there's no meaning behind this, you'll need to find a different artist.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I did too. And I
Yeah.
was like, at first I was a little taken aback. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, but she goes, but I'm willing to sit down with you and we'll figure out how to bring meaning
To
that
it.
piece of art.
That's
And
great.
so ultimately she ended up doing all of my kids' birth flowers. And that's how
Oh,
that piece came. And now that is like, there's 2 pieces on my body that I just really love and appreciate because they have a story behind them.
They have
And art
meaning.
is the same thing, whether you hang it on your wall or you put it
Put
on
on
your
your body.
skin.
Yep.
I mean, really, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I love the approach of having meaning behind it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that it just really brings in that love into a space. We talked about this yesterday. When I was interviewing another gift, I said it's like when grandma makes something, it's just so much more special.
So much
There's
more
so much
special.
love in it, and you can almost taste that love. And I
Mhm.
feel the same with art and how you are so passionate and you love it so much, and you love the space and you love the people, and you get to know them before you even
Yeah.
put the paint to the canvas.
Mhm.
And I love that because then they can actually, every time they look at that picture, they get that warm hug from the experience,
Yeah.
not just the piece of art.
Yeah, and that's the main goal, right? Like that's the main goal of it all. And one thing too with art is I feel like there's 2 angles you can go. You can sometimes when you submit for shows, they say, "Hey, tell us about this piece," and then you're supposed to go into this long thing about
Yeah.
why you created it and what it means to you. I love leaving that part blank because I never want to dictate someone's experience.
Right.
Because I created that piece for myself and what was in my soul. And for someone else, they might interpret it totally different. And I never want to manipulate or change someone else's experience with my art. And so that's something to keep in mind too. If there's new art collectors or people that want to hire someone to be an artist, is let it breathe, let it speak to you. And I guess if you're really curious, ask the artist what it meant to them and why they created it. But let it be an experience just for you.
Yes.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah.
People don't really think there's so much emotions behind art, but there really is.
Girl, do you know how many times I've cried creating artwork? Oh, there's probably tears stained on all of my art. It's ridiculous. So
See,
there's
that's that love and emotion that just is going to continue, and
Oh.
it's I'm sure a lot of the times it's a good cry.
Oh, it is a good cry.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very cathartic. Sometimes it's yeah, yes, it oftentimes is. Yes.
I
Mhm.
love it. All right. So tell me a little bit about what your creative process is.
Ooh.
Do you plan it tight or do you just let the piece tell you what it needs? I know you kind of touched on that a little bit, that you
Yeah.
love the creative reign.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is there
So
ever a time when you like more your sip and paints, I would think, would be more a little bit structured?
Ugh,
versus your commission pieces where you have a blank canvas. Can you kind of tell us how you come
yeah.
up with those?
Yeah, so two very different styles, two very
Yeah.
different things. Also, another reason why I had to separate my names. So, in the professional art world, I'm Alexandra. They do
Yes.
not know that PD exists. I was getting blacklisted from shows, and jurors and directors were basically denying me entry into the professional art world because I was doing sip and paints in my community. And basically, the consensus was is it's considered crafting and it's considered beneath me, where I need to sort of hold a certain air about myself. And that's really where I needed to make a decision in life. Was I going to allow someone to dictate, or an industry dictate who I was going to become, or was I going to forge a path that fit me, fit me, and fit the direction God wanted me to go? And as you know, community is huge to me. I was never
Yes.
going to forfeit pouring into other people. And honestly, if I was given a choice and I had to choose between pouring into my community and doing sip and paints or being in the professional art world, I would choose my community over and over and over again because that is my purpose in life and that's what fills my love cup and that's important to me. And so, but you were talking about the process. I really wanted to touch on that because that's really important. But the process is so different. I feel like for my sip and paint classes, I don't want to say they're cartoony, but there's not as many rules and you kind of can just create from the heart and then it's very simple
It's
art,
just not
right?
as serious.
It's just not as serious.
It's super
Yeah,
fun.
it's super fun and I can try to, but sometimes I get lost in the sauce though and like I'm like going and I'm like, how am I going to teach this?
Right.
I'm like, I've got a little too deep here. So but that's just very, fun and I kind of listen to feedback from people what they want for my classes and then professionally is a very different process because I have to worry about composition, color balance. Where is this going to be hanging? What's the light source going to be like in the room? What's my intention with this piece? Where's this piece going to go? What shows might it go in? What what part of the United States or even internationally is it going to be shipped to? So what audience is it going to be in front of? All things you have to consider. So I actually paint a lot of my paintings in my head when I lay down at night. So I've struggled with insomnia most of my life, and so I will paint it in my head many, many, many times over before I even get it to the actual canvas. And so I work on design for sometimes half a year to a year before I'll even touch a canvas,
Oh, wow.
where others will just come to me very quickly. And so, and I think that just it's kind of the journey of becoming who you want to become too. So I'm like, oh, I want to bring this painting to life, but I don't quite have the skill set yet to achieve that or achieve exactly what I want. So yeah, that's a little bit of that process. So yeah.
I love hearing more about the creative process. And I didn't realize that the art industry was so cutthroat. I mean,
Oh.
I knew the teachers were from just hearing other things, but man.
Oh yeah, I've had to learn to it's like water off a duck's back. Otherwise, you'll just
Yeah.
get chewed up and spit out really quick. So yeah, just be on your own path for real. Just do your own thing in the art world because if you start trying to live by their standards, you will just lose yourself to the industry, which I did for a bit there.
Yeah,
So
when you mentioned dark art before, I didn't really think it through. I was thinking more just painting,
mhm. Yeah.
negative or something,
Yeah. There's a very dark side to like, and there's a political side to art as well,
yeah.
which I didn't know because I just went bebopping. Am I allowed? I don't know how much time we have, but
Oh, we're good.
I there's probably the U.S. is one of their most prestigious Western art shows, and I didn't know what I didn't know, and sometimes that works out in your favor. But I'm an eternal optimist.
Yeah.
So I bought the ticket, or I had gotten my booth for this show, and and then the art show was during the same time this other show I was in, and so I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about this, but I kind of want to be in it. The audacity. I emailed them 2 days before a show. I said, hey, I would love to be in your art show. Can I bring some pieces over to you? This was before I knew much about the professional art world. They plan a year in advance, the
Oh
artists that they
gosh.
have. And it's like a pool of 1,500 artists that they pull from, and they only select 60.
Oh
And
wow.
so the sweet little angel baby assistant director was not mean to me. She goes, hey, how about I give you a free ticket? These tickets are not cheap, and they sell out months in advance. And she's like, why don't you come see what it's about? And I was like, oh, thank you. So
That's
I,
amazing.
isn't that so sweet?
Yeah.
And I showed up. People are dressed to the nines. And I remember standing in front of this painting. It was priced at $58,000. And I was standing there. And I realized, I was like, I am a peon. And I'm standing here, and this big man comes up, and there's a red dot. Red dot means it's sold. And, he goes, son of a gun. He said, who freaking bought this painting? And this other guy walks up on the other side of me, comes around, and he's like, well, I did, John. And he turns, he's like, oh, how are you? And they shake hands. He's like, you knew I flew into town to buy that piece. He's like, well, I'll sell it to you for 80,000. And they shook hands and they were laughing. And I'm like, wow, this is like big time.
Yeah.
And so I was so thankful for that experience because you don't know what you don't know. And also, I ended up getting into the show 3 years later. And I think had it not have been that position or just that, I think when you're naive and you don't know how the world works, you kind of operate from a different headspace, whereas now I'd be like, oh, what would they think of me? Is this
Right.
professional? Whereas before I was just bebopping through life, I'm like, this is who I is. Can I come bring you some artwork?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're so cute, but this is not. No. So yeah, so that's the professional art world's just so interesting, and you don't know what you don't know. So yeah.
Gosh, I never knew any of that about it. So
Oh, it's
I'm
wild.
So glad
It's
you
a
elaborated.
wild ride. Let me
I
tell you,
bet.
it is a wild ride.
Because like I know more of the PD side of you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm just like picturing you in this like super uncomfortable like situation almost, and you're still just like, I'm happy to be here.
I'm like,
this
oh,
is such a blessing.
goodness.
Like, yeah, like what am I gonna learn from this? What can I take back from this?
For sure. And I was fangirling too because a lot of these artists I followed on Instagram for years, and they're like the pinnacle of art. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're Dennis Zeminski. Oh my goodness, you're Stephanie Hartshorn. I'm like, can I get a photo with you? And like, I was fangirling so hard, and I just went around taking photos with everybody. I'm sure I don't even care what I look like. I'm sure I was just having a time of my life. I really was. I'm like, you guys are amazing. And I think I hope that's how I still operate and cheer people on and just tell them how awesome they are. Because I genuinely feel that way when I see people's art that I admire for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's great because I'm sure that opened up a lot of doors to meet people. Because sometimes, honestly, it depends on what kind of circles you run in.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The fact that you just went up and you were just like, I'm going to introduce myself whether you like it or not, honey.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like,
and I knew way too much about these artists, too. I had researched so much about them. I felt like I intimately knew them. I'm like,
you're like, oh, I found a stalker.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. That was definitely me in the professional art world.
Way.
I'm like, I'm so proud of you people. I am like cheering you on. You guys don't even know me. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
We went off on a tangent. But that's a little bit about my process, a little bit about the art world too. And another thing on my process is I have this, I don't want to call it condition, it's just something about me. It's called synesthesia. So I organize the world by color and gender and feel. So my color palette definitely dictates that. So through that, I'm able to dictate the feel I want through a painting because of that, which I never knew was something a lot of artists actually have. So,
really?
Yeah, there you go. So if you want some of the research later, look that into that because it's kind of cool. So, and I thought the whole world organized them, like the world around them. I thought people organized the world around them like that. And evidently they do not. So.
Isn't it crazy how everybody sees the world differently, even though we all have the same world?
Oh, it's so uniquely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. What was the first moment you thought I could actually make money doing this? Like you could shut everything down when you kind of touched on that. Was that when you were driving through Denver?
No. So that was like 2 years prior. I had created these abstract pieces and the wine bar. Are you familiar with the wine bar in Spearfish? Okay. Yeah. Allison. So she still does, but she does, I think it's like a month or maybe 2 months. You can go and hang your artwork there. So I waltzed in there. I said, Allison, can I hang my artwork in here? And she's like, sure. And bless her little cotton picking heart, because she never asked me what my artwork looked like, anything like that. And so I made it a big deal. Life is worth celebrating. I don't care what it is. Make it a big deal. Wear the themed outfits. Buy the fancy dinner, whatever it is. So I made little invites. I invited a bunch of people to my opening show. I ordered like little hors d'oeuvres and stuff for everybody. And I sold out.
That's amazing.
And that's when I looked at Slade and I'm like, I think I can do this.
Yes.
I think I can do this. Why don't we try it? And that's that.
I love it. Do you do a lot more art shows like that?
No, I don't do pop-ups like that anymore. No, I don't. Just because, I mean, as you know, you kind of have to be efficient in where you spend your time. So that's the only reason why I don't. She has asked me to come back a couple of times, and I always feel bad because I don't have enough work like saved up because they're at shows or they're committed to other places or they're sold. And so I always feel really bad. I should probably reach out to her and do that. Thank you. I'll put that on my list.
Because you have so much time.
Exactly. I have so much.
Okay. What was the hardest part of being both the artist and the business owner?
Oh, that's so hard. And I think this is any business owner. I think, and especially if you create your own product, it's how do you price it? And so if I could, being from the coffee shop industry and then the beer industry, that kind of dictates what your price is on a product. So you don't really have to think about that. You really just have to operate from a business mindset. But marrying art where you're selling a part of your soul on canvas,
Yes.
how do you put a price on that? So that was hard to marry those together. But you agonize over that. And then what do? You just reach out to other people in the industry, pick their brain, never be afraid to ask people questions. And that's the main one is I just didn't know how to price things, and it's hard to sell yourself. It was so easy for me to sell a cup of coffee or sell a pint of beer. It wasn't easy for me to sell a part of my soul.
Right.
That was hard for me. And I still think I struggle with that a little bit. I'm like, does it speak to you? How are you
Yeah.
feeling? Does it not? What does it say to you? So yeah, I'd say that's the hardest part.
Now,
Mhm.
you just mentioned to pick the other artists' brains of how they do that. So
Yeah.
you mentioned also that the artist industry is kind of cutthroat. Is
Yep.
it the other artists that are cutthroat, or is it more just whoever's putting on the shows or the events that are kind of a little bit more
Yeah, strict.
standoff,
Strict,
standoffish? Yeah,
gatekeepy, whatever you want to say.
yeah,
It's both.
a
So
little bit. Yeah.
you definitely find you definitely find your people in the art world, the people that are open to talking about things. There's trade secrets. You
Yeah.
gatekeep things, which I totally understand because you have your own style.
Mhm.
And so you just get shut down, or people don't respond back to you, and that's fine too. So yeah, like in anything in life, you just find your people. And you
Yeah.
know what resonates with you. Always follow your gut. You're like, is this a relationship I need to be pursuing? Or not, professionally or personally, whatever it is. So, yeah, there was a lot of that. You just kind of find them,
Yeah.
and take people at face value and move on.
Okay.
So,
That makes perfect
yeah,
sense. Yeah. I was
So,
just like, wait a minute. Hold on.
hold on
And
a
then, yep.
second. But I do
But
that
that
with
makes sense.
anything. So
Yeah.
whenever I did the coffee truck, I got a map of the U.S. and then found towns the same size as Spearfish and smaller that
Mhm.
had coffee trucks in them. And then I did them in like the Midwest and higher. So for like winter, because coffee trucks that
Very
operate in the
different
South are
here.
going to be
Yeah.
way different because they don't have winter or snow. I called them all and I interviewed them and talked to them and asked them like a boatload of questions so that I could actually structure my own business model based off of our weather patterns and our population. And so just don't ever be afraid to go and call people and ask for advice, because you would be really surprised the amount of people that are willing to talk to you and pour into you because people did the same for them.
Yeah.
So, and don't be afraid to like return that kindness.
We see the same in our industry, honestly.
Mhm.
Like, I started out with a broker who spilled every secret imaginable. And so then coming back home and doing real estate here,
Mhm.
like, yes, there are still trade secrets. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not going to go to my competitor and be like, hey, I think you
Yeah.
should change X, Y, and Z. You'll do better.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
No.
do that. One, they're
Mhm.
running their business their way,
Yeah.
and that's perfect for them. Everybody does it different.
Mhm.
But I've always been the same. Like,
Mhm.
as I brought a couple agents on my team, they're like, oh, this. And I'm like, oh, it's in the files. Like, just
Yeah.
take it.
Just take it.
Yeah, take it and run with
That's
it.
fine.
Like,
Go for it.
yeah, don't reinvent the wheel. It's already done
It's
for
already
you.
working,
Here.
so don't. Yeah,
And
it's
then
fine.
a couple times they were like, are you sure? Like, do
Yeah.
you want to charge me for
Yeah.
this? I'm like, no.
No, because
Like,
somebody else helped me.
yeah, I'm like, go do you. Be successful. I
Return
love
the
that.
kindness. There's
Yeah.
enough for if you ever operate out of an abundance mindset, the world works a lot easier, and you're not worried about stupid things.
Yes.
And also, you cheer for other people's success, and that's going to wildly change your game in business.
Yeah, I will say it took me probably like 10 years of personal development and professional development to
Mhm.
like learn that. Like, what you
Mhm.
put out comes back to you tenfold.
Yep.
So don't gatekeep. Like,
No.
don't hold it back.
Yeah.
Just wish the best for everybody. And
Well, think about it on a community scale. Is if we're raising each other up, cheering each other on, helping each other, it just makes our community better, and therefore makes the world better. And the children that we raise in those communities go out and make the world a better place. So why wouldn't we work towards that common goal?
exactly.
It'd be a little weird not to, I think.
I think so too. But I mean, there are still people
There
out
are
there
still our people.
bebopping to their own
Absolutely.
tune.
And we
but-
love a little extra harder on them. We just
Yep.
love them. Little
Exactly.
cactuses. We just gonna, yeah.
Put on our suit and go give
Suits
them
and
a
just
big
hug them. Just give them a big hug. Rub it in. Yes.
All right. So oh, sorry. I already answered that one. When you are in a slow season, creatively or financially, what do you do to keep moving forward?
Ooh. So I definitely have an ebb and flow to my sip and paints. And then I would say where one industry crescendos, another one decrescendos. So it kind
Okay.
of, and also when things, whether it's financially low or it's a slower season, that's where the art of creativity comes in. You pivot, you kind of create out of, when I say create, I'm not saying create artwork. I'm saying create creative business wise.
Yeah.
That's where you kind of get innovative with how you're going to reach clients, maybe pivot on how you're approaching your artwork or your business. And so I actually welcome those seasons of stillness because I'm able to be like, okay, where can I grow and improve and do better and reach more people? So that's kind of, I guess it makes you grab for your bootstraps a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that you say that because I felt that myself when because I used to do
Mm,
social media management for real estate agents, and
yeah.
it was a very creative process.
Very.
Well, then I
Mm-hmm.
was like, my broker was like, "Just get your license
Why
and
not?
do it." So
Yeah.
then I did it, but then I found that I was so busy there, I had no time for my own creativity. And
Mm,
like honestly, as a creative person, like I'm
yeah.
I'm not a painter,
No, but you're
but
creative in
I'm
your own outlet.
creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you lose that time,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of soul sucking.
It is.
Like,
Oh.
it almost turns you into a little bit of an angry person.
Oh, yeah.
So I found that I've got to set that time aside because,
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily get to dictate my seasons, like they
Yep.
find me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's important that anybody takes that time to just sit down,
Mm-hmm.
shut the world outside off,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that creative outlet is.
Yeah.
So I love that you touched base on that where you love those lulls because
Oh,
it kind of brings you back to that creative, like almost you put your body back in like homeostasis,
stasis. Yep. Mm-hmm.
really.
And you get to listen to the direction you want to go. And you touched on something that I think is really important for your listeners. As women, we are natural creatives, right? We bring children into the world, so like we're
Hmm.
always creating. We're a place of creation, and women need to be creating. And even if you don't have children, whether you create through pottery, artwork, social media, graphic design, we are natural born creators. So if you are someone that is struggling, I would definitely recommend tapping into your creative side. It might take you trying 50 different disciplines, but find that one thing because we are natural born creators.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I do love that.
Mm-hmm. So
And
that's like my PSA. I'm like,
yes,
you're not feeling good in life, honey. Where are we creating? Are we making time for that? No. Okay, we should probably do
yes,
that.
100%. I need to shut social media off a little bit
Oh,
more and get a little
girl,
bit more of that creative.
unplug from the social media a little bit. Get right with yourself.
My husband's
Yes.
probably gonna come give you a hug and be like, "Yes, put
Yes.
that phone down."
My husband too. My husband
I
too.
know because last night when I was getting stuff for that
Yeah.
project, I was like, "Oh, so I thought it was gonna be like this much money. I went
Yeah.
to the store and it's gonna be this much money." My husband's like,
Girl.
"Just do it. It's fine.
It's
Just do
fine,
it. Yes,
please.
yes,
Please ground
yeah.
yourself.
Good
Yeah.
for your soul."
Good for your soul. That's what you need to water that too. And sometimes we forget to water
Yes,
that.
100%. So, what is one mistake that you see new artists make when they try to sell their work? Now that you've been into it for a little bit longer, is there any
Ooh,
advice that you could give new artists?
new artists, two things. They price their work too high or they don't know how to price it or they're pricing it willy-nilly. There's definitely like a math equation to it.
Okay.
So it's not just throwing a dart at because I think it's hard as artists. We're like, oh, I really love this painting, so I should charge more for it versus this one. I'm like, oh, it's not as good, so should charge less. No, like that's not how it works. That's one
Okay.
mistake I think I see new artists making. Second one, which I've already kind of touched on, is they let the industry dictate either their creative style or how they approach selling their artwork. And just don't do that. And also, being in galleries is not the end all be all. Your
Yeah.
impact in the world is not dictated by how many galleries you're in, how many awards or accolades. It doesn't matter. I'm going to reiterate that. It doesn't matter. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. It just doesn't. It doesn't. But what matters is the people you're touching with your art and is it bringing you peace, like is creating bringing you peace, and that's all that matters. The money will come, but I think as soon as we start to change our artwork to fit the world, we're doing a disservice to ourselves and it's disingenuous to the beings that we're supposed to be.
Yeah. And there's always that other artist out there that could
Oh yeah.
create exactly
Yep.
what they want. So
Mm-hmm.
why should you change to conform to somebody else?
Absolutely.
So I
Yep.
love that you stay true to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, it took me a while because I did not for a
Yeah.
while. So just I went through the dark stuff, so you don't have to. Okay, so I'll
Live
just
and
say
learn.
that.
Live
Yes,
and learn.
yes, yes, absolutely.
What is one thing that you do that has helped your art stand out in a crowded world?
Ooh. So the art industry is really interesting because you have contemporary, you have modern, you have Western, you have abstract, you have so many, you have classical, you have so many different types of artwork, and then you'll have one section of artists, and all their artwork kind of looks the same. Then you have these guys that look a little bit different. I kind of created my own, and every artist does create their own look of artwork.
Yeah.
And so just find people one that you like that inspire you, which I'm sure there are people in your industry that inspire you, and you kind of
Mhm.
try to model maybe what they've created, and then put your own twist on it and build the skill sets. Never stop learning. I go to so many workshops a year, so I can keep up on my Well, one, the art industry is always changing. The tools they have in the industry, the new paints they have in the industry, the chemicals, because they work with oil. There's so much you can be learning. Also, the day you stop learning, you're best be 6 feet under.
Yep.
So, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but yeah, that would be it. So just always be fine tuning, be inspired by other people. In the art industry, you're always to be inspired by other people. So use that to influence your work, but don't use it to copy, and go from there and let your heart guide you.
Yeah.
Don't get so stuck. Especially social media is such a bad trap for artwork, because you're looking at so much good art online, and you're like, the comparison's the thief of joy. Don't let it be. And also, you don't need to paint like somebody else to be successful.
Right. You want to have your own little spin on it.
Oh yeah, and it took me a while to find mine, and I'm still developing. One artist I really respect, Gabe Leonard, he said it took him. I asked him the same thing. I said, "How long did it take you to find your style?" Because his story is really cool. It said it took him 15 years to find and fine tune his style. So it takes time with anything in life.
You have to practice it.
You have to practice it, and what speaks true to you is what matters. So yeah, because there is times, because my artwork's a little bit different. I'm like, does this resonate with people? I don't care if it resonates with people.
Right.
It resonates with me. Gosh darn it! Like,
and there are people out there. You just have to find.
I just
them.
gotta find them.
Literally billions. Of
Exactly.
People out there.
There
You
are
just have
billions.
to find those people.
You have to find those people. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, we're gonna kind of transition a little bit into your background.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So,
exciting.
You operated the Blue Spruce Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
What did that season teach you?
Ooh, that season taught me hard work, tenacity. Yeah, and don't quit before you start. That's a big one. And it taught me the importance of community. So I moved away, without getting into my personal story, with a lot of really dark, heavy things, having been in the Black Hills. And then I kind of was made to move back to the Black Hills, sort of against my will. And I don't say it that I was 21 at the time. I could have made my own decisions, but there's so much to work through. You work through so much in your 20s. It was weird circumstances. I got brought back to a place that brought me a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. And I didn't like going to the grocery store. I didn't like the people of the Black Hills. Sorry, I love you now. Okay, that comes from growth.
We all have our seasons.
All have our seasons.
Yes.
I just felt a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of, I thought people were whispering and talking about me. And I just chose not to love the community that I was in. The coffee truck taught me coffee equals community, coffee equals love. And I was able to serve one cup of coffee at a time and love on one person at a time, and get to know that they're just as broken as me. They're hurting just as me, and they need love just as much as me. And so the coffee truck taught me how to love people.
I love that.
And
that
that
made me tear up.
It changed me. It absolutely changed me. And all of my coffee people, if anybody's listening from my coffee business, I miss and love you guys so much. And you guys changed me so much as a person.
I know.
That's a big one.
Yeah. That's a beautiful story. I love that. I never would have thought it was that deep.
Oh, it's a deep one. It's deep. That's a deep one.
It really helped mold and shape who you are today then to go through that.
Absolutely. It did. Yeah. And again, it's my husband. I was at a job that I didn't necessarily like love. It didn't fill my love cup. And he's like, well, what did you love doing? I said, well, 2 jobs I loved more than anything in my life was serving snow cones and coffee. And he's like, why don't you do a coffee truck? I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. And he's like, look, we just found one. And you're like, we were on eBay or whatever. And he's like, oh, it only requires a $500 deposit. I'm like, oh, does it? And it was my birthday. I think I was 22 or 23.
That's amazing.
And he's like, let's do it. I'm like, yeah. And we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. I'm like, you think? And he's like, let's do it. So put a $500 deposit on it. I flew out a month later to Kentucky. I couldn't even rent a vehicle to get around because I was 22. You have to be 25 to rent a vehicle.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
this whole thing got stuck in a snowstorm to get there. I drove this thing back across the country. No one knew about it. It was a whole thing. So everything is always thanks to my husband. He's always like, I'm on the edge, and he just like boop, pushes me over. So
I love that.
He's a good one. He's a good egg.
Have a good support system at home, and
he sees the potential in me. And I think that's the beautiful thing about marriage and having someone that always sees more for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a good husband too, and sometimes like they see the good in you that you kind of put away. Like, you kind of lock it up, and you're like, I don't want to be like egotistical, so I'm not that good. And they're like, oh yes, you are. Like, go.
You actually are. Yeah. You should actually capitalize on that.
Yes,
so
100%.
Yeah, but
having a good life partner is
so important. A
so
good life partner is so important. I can't stress that enough.
Absolutely. So, what did owning a place on State Street teach you about people and community?
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna be really honest because I'm really unfiltered. So I think you know this.
That's my favorite thing about you.
Oh, well, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I think you have all these pockets of the Black Hills, and each one kind of has their own stigma, their own idea, or things like that. And the reason why I opened a business on State Street, one, because it's historical. That's really important to me. Two, I rodeoed here. I rodeoed for Belle Fourche. And so it was always really important to me. Well, let's be honest. Spearfish didn't need another coffee shop. They have 14 of them, whatever they have.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how can I give back to the community that I love so much and maybe doesn't have maybe the amenities that other towns have?
Yeah.
And so that's when the tap house idea sort of came, because Spearfish is like the brewing mecca of, so I was like, oh, Belle Fourche needs that. We have amazing restaurants and bars here, but how can we capitalize on the craft beer side of things, and how can that benefit and bless the community? And so that's really was the driving force. How can I get back to the community that poured so much into me? So, and how can we make it better?
Yeah. I love that because, I mean, we still frequently go down there.
Oh,
I mean, they've got good pizza.
The new owners are amazing.
They are. They're great people.
Love them. They're so awesome. They were exactly who was supposed to have it.
And we will have them on the podcast here.
Oh, you should.
Soon.
They're so great. I love them.
They're awesome. Yeah, we really like and enjoy going down there. And that's another thing to be said for like small towns too is so my husband and I, we don't drink alcohol at all.
Yeah. And I don't really either.
So we went down there and I was like, what are your other options? And they were like, oh, we have this and this. But they're like, but what would you like us to carry for you?
Thank you, small town.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Like, because otherwise, we're not the type of people who are like, oh, you have to cater to us. We just won't go. We'll be like, oh, they don't have anything for us. That's okay.
That's okay.
They're here for other
people.
No
totally fine. Yeah.
But yeah, then I love that they asked that question and they were just like, what would
you like
carry that would earn your business? And I was like, oh,
I love that about them.
Yeah.
But I love that about Belle Fourche.
Yes.
Is they do that. And that was one thing with the tap house is I said, well, Spearfish doesn't need that. What is something that, Belle Fourche needs? And I realized my coffee shop was going to a community that already had so much. And I felt Belle Fourche was lacking a lot. And back in the day, when did you move to the Black Hills?
So I was actually born and raised here.
Oh, you were born and raised here. Okay, so you know that. Okay.
I graduated in 2004 here and then...
From Belle Fourche?
Yep.
Oh,
and
girl,
then I went to Sioux Falls to Southeast Tech for a little while, and then I ended up getting a job offer in Gillette, so I moved there, and then met my husband while I was in Sioux Falls, actually, and he followed me out to Wyoming. Like, of course, we had just been dating for a little while, so it wasn't a big deal, and then we've been back and forth to Florida multiple times, but because I was a bad kid growing up. I was a really naughty kid. That's a whole story,
You little spicy baby.
Oh, I was bad. Like,
it happens.
The fact that I'm not in prison, honestly, like that bad.
That bad.
Yeah, and so some really bad things happened, and I just decided I need to leave. I hate it here. I don't ever want to be here anymore. So, kind of alluded to your story there a little bit. And then I left, and I went to these different places, and then I was just like, you know what? The grass is not greener on the other side.
Nope.
The grass is going to be green where I water it.
Yep.
And that's when I finally sat down with my husband, and I was like, I think we want to move back to Belle Fourche. We need those small community.
Yep.
Like, I miss that. I miss my kids being able to be raised like the 90s babies, and they are in this community.
Yeah.
And I embrace that, and I love that. I realize it's not for everybody, but it was definitely for us. So, yeah, then we moved back, and I'm like, I'm just going to pour into my community as much as I can, and it'll give back what I need, you know?
Yeah, your community is going to love you as much as you love your community.
Exactly.
I mean, really and truly, that's at the end of the day, that's really the biggest part of it. So I can encourage anybody to do that. Pour back into your roots. Why not? I mean, see what happens, and and don't let the stigmas get to you. Create your own stigma of your own town.
100%. Because here's the thing: people are going to have an opinion of you one way or the other.
Oh yeah,
you might as well just roll with the punches and be true to yourself, and the right people will find you.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be people who hate you, no matter what you do, and that's okay, because I still firmly believe hurt people.
They do,
and you just have to love them from afar so that they don't bring you down.
Yep.
But you can still love and appreciate them for who they are.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And also appreciate the people that don't like you for the strengths they do bring to the table, and even to your community. I mean, gosh, we're not all going to get along anyways, but I mean, we can appreciate each other nonetheless.
Yeah. And I mean, I sit on 4 different boards, and there's a lot of
bless your
personality.
Yes, there is. I forgot you do sit on 4 different boards. Yes. Okay. Yeah. You say less.
Yes. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Okay. As
Thank
a
you for bringing that up.
as a side note, when you're ready to be interviewed for your own podcast, girl, you let me know because I feel like there's a lot of little golden nuggies we have to uncover for you
Yes,
to like share with us.
we
So
could do that.
we can do that.
So, what made you and Slade decide to put the tap house down and go a different direction? Was it just so that you could for sure pursue art? Did you, because remind me, did you
Yeah.
sell that the same time you sold the coffee shops? I know it was all pretty
It was
close.
very close together. So we had made the move from Spearfish to Wyoming. So we lived in Wyoming. And that those roads sometimes are not
Yes.
great. And so with the coffee shop, if an employee calls in, it's going to take me 35 minutes to get to Spearfish.
And that's if you were already ready to go.
And
pretty
that
much.
was if you're ready to go. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. And that's if the roads are good. And then with the tap house, same thing. And I just realized that I wasn't getting to spend a lot of time with Slade, my
Yeah.
husband, and it didn't really. And I wanted to pursue my art more, especially after that big moment for me. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to be doing this. And then also as a Christian, it didn't resonate with me as something that I should be. I don't think there's anything wrong with alcohol. I don't.
Right.
But I also don't want to be the facilitator for maybe a problem or an issue someone has.
Yeah.
And
I can understand that.
that's important to me, and that was like a moral dilemma. And as soon as like I got convicted of that, I was like, oh, we are not supposed to be doing this, but this must be somebody else's thing in life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody has their own journey that
Yeah.
they're walking. And
how weird is it if your bartender doesn't drink and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, which one do you like? I'm like, oh, I don't really drink. So what does that
Yeah.
say about your product? So, I mean, it just wasn't. And I'm a firm believer, especially with the tap house, specifically the tap house, is we were meant to make it and establish it. It was
Yes.
someone else's to carry on.
Yes.
And I
love
feel that firmly.
And I was just thinking about that as you were kind of talking through that. I was like, I love that because you are ambitious. You are very knowledgeable. You know exactly how to start businesses. And I love that even though you knew it wasn't your path to maybe pursue, maybe you didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But going forward, you may still open another business and be like, I don't intend on running this for the next 5 years, but
Yeah.
our community needs this.
it.
I know how to start this and help to get it pushed forward. And then I'm going to sell it to somebody who can carry the torch.
Oh, yeah. That'd be like a dream job because I reinvent myself like every 3 or 4 years. But
Yeah.
that'd be a dream job. If someone's like, here's all this money, build or start and establish a business and sell it.
Yeah.
I would be such a happy camper doing that. So
We should do that together sometime because I love starting businesses.
I
Like,
love it.
the creative process behind it. I don't think people
That's
realize
the part I
that there's-
love.
That's me too. I'm like, I love to create and like get
Yes.
this business model up, but I'm
Yep.
like, I don't know if I necessarily want to work it
I'm
day to
not wanna-
day.
I just want to create it, open it, get it established, and then you can have
Yeah.
it. That's like, that's my dream. I love it.
love that.
That's the creative part. Yeah. Yeah.
This is what happens when you get two creatives, a 2-hour-long podcast.
Girl, yeah, sorry. I know. I think you said you wanted around 30 or 45 minutes. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to chop this up.
I don't even care. Honestly, like, I think that your story is important and there's so many different facets to your story that like, and honestly, even me, before I even started this podcast, I was like, I would love to just have 4 hours with PeeDee and just talk to her and learn more about her story because I knew you had a little bit of a harder past.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, gosh, I would just love to know more about your story. I'm one of those people who would literally just love to sit down and have coffee with people and hear their story and just have conversations back
me
and
too.
forth. So like you were one of the top like 3 people. The first one was like, okay, you're my BFF. So like you have to be like my guinea pig to do this and help me.
Yeah.
figure out the first
figure out all the
episodes
things.
and laugh at me through my struggles.
Help me feel comfortable.
And then I was
Yes.
like, and then there's PeeDee because she is just such a light, and I knew that the conversation would just freely flow. So I knew that ours was probably going to be a lot longer.
we're
and
gonna have
I'm
so much fun.
totally fine with that.
Oh,
like
so
people can tune out and come back if they
Whatever.
want
And we can do multiple parts. It'll be fine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
PeeDee part 1, 2, 3, 4,
2,
5.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9.
And then we'll get you in another year when you have more going
There
on.
we go. Perfect. When I reinvent myself again.
Yes. Okay, so kind of going back to community and events.
Yeah.
You show up at a lot of local events in a very big way, including like the Fourche walking history.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I really didn't know a whole heck of a lot
Yeah.
about that. You guys
Yeah.
did that while I was I believe I was
You were
gone at
gone.
the
Yeah,
time.
you were
Yeah.
gone.
So can
Yeah.
you tell me a little bit about that community event and how that
So
started?
the Sip of History is actually spearheaded by Michelle Evans. I don't know if it's going on any longer. I did kind of have to step away from community involvement just because I was traveling so much
Yeah.
with my artwork.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, your battery kind of gets depleted when
Mhm.
you're teaching classes too. But that specific event was so cool. Michelle partnered with local historians to understand the story of Belle Fourche and why it was such a mecca. So one of the reasons why I asked if you'd been here, so I think you look at Spearfish and it's a sign like shining child of the Black Hills, like
Yeah.
truly. Well, back in the day, Belle Fourche was a shining child.
It was.
It
Yeah.
was booming, and then Spearfish was kind of like, I don't want to say the dump, but like Spearfish wasn't as nice as Belle
Right.
Fourche, and then Spearfish won the bid for I-90. Everything moved that way. The industry in Belle Fourche died down. And so what I thought was really interesting about Michelle is that she went to get to the root history of Belle Fourche and what made it so special. And so that event, we had different actors and actresses,
Yeah.
that would dress up as the characters that made Belle Fourche who it was. And then we were able to tell the story of Belle Fourche through those characters. And it was the coolest event. I loved that event. I still love that event. And then she also does a reenactment as well that kind of
Yeah.
tells the story of the bank robbery and all that stuff. So Michelle Evans is really pivotal for community involvement, community events. She has such big ideas, and
Yeah.
we really need that in Belle Fourche. So it's really truly all her. And the thing with being in a small community or in your community, it just takes someone to have an idea, and then it just takes people
Coming together.
And so Michelle has the idea. She just needs the people to come together
Mhm.
to help make it happen. And it's so beautiful to have someone like her in our community.
Yeah. I
So-
agree wholeheartedly.
Oh yeah, so I'm just one of the wheels in the overall thing, but she has the overall ideas. So I'm a good person. You tell me what to do, I'm gonna roll my sleeves up and do it. Like I'm just being a ranch kid, you just do that stuff. So I think maybe that seems why I'm so involved in everything is just because I'm willing to get my hands dirty and just help. So it's not necessarily that I'm a mega mind behind something or a big idea. I just care about our community having good things in it.
Yeah. And I think our listeners on this podcast are going to hear this over and over and over because, like, the one we recorded right before this, they were like, we were raised in the Midwest. You just
help.
do it.
You just do it. Goodness
And,
gracious,
yeah,
you
and
do
then we
it.
started talking about like when we've lived in other places and everybody talks about, oh, I want to hire you because you're from the Midwest. You have like a whole different work ethic. And it's like, I don't think people realize that if they've never worked with someone who was born and raised in the Midwest. But like, there's truth to be said for that. Like, we are built different.
We are so built different. Yeah, we absolutely are. We're little workhorses, and we do it with a smile on our face, and we'll probably even invite you to Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the Midwest, way, really.
Yeah, after being out working in 20-degree weather, and we're just like, okay, where's the stew?
Well, yeah, where's the stew? Yep, where's the family? Where's the friends? And yeah, if there's a problem, we all have a problem. If everything's good, it's good for everybody. So
yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you could talk on this specific question for probably 10 hours.
Okay, I'll rein it in.
What do you love most about the Belle Fourche community?
Oh, gosh. Honestly, I just love the authenticity of Belle Fourche, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love that. I love honesty and transparency, and that's what you get with Belle Fourche. There's no secrets. There's no anything. I think that's one of the things I loved about owning the tap house is if you ask somebody, hey, how was your day? They're not going to put a smile on their face. They're like, you know what? Today kind of stunk. And I'm like, you know what? How can I help you and how can I love on you?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in other communities, they're like, oh, my day was great. But maybe they're silently struggling on the inside.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the authenticity of Belle Fourche. And they're just so unapologetically themselves. And I love that. That's such a strength. That's such a beautiful quality that I admire.
It is. I feel like because we do, we're still a pretty small town.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the
comparatively,
world. We're still a pretty small town.
Pretty small, yeah.
Definitely smaller towns out there, but we're still pretty small. But I think that there's that community that like we feel safe to open up and say like, oh, today was actually just really shitty.
We do have a safe,
and like we know that person's not going to be like, oh, well, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah,
that person's going to wrap you in their arms and be like, it's okay. How can I help?
How can I help? Yep. Do you need to talk
we
about
all
it?
have bad days.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just something that as someone who's lived in larger areas, you keep coming back to that because you're almost like this forgotten person that nobody really knows, loves, or appreciates when you're in those bigger cities.
You're not celebrated. You're not.
Yeah. And here it's like you're celebrated for every little
just
thing.
existing. Yeah.
And I kind of love that.
That is the beautiful thing. I love just being able to go to the grocery store in Belle Fourche and knowing I'm going to run into like probably 8 people I know.
Yep.
And it's not going to be a quick 15-minute visit. It's going to be probably an hour and a half before you're out of the grocery store. And you know what? That's the beautiful thing. Because
Yeah.
when you do move away and you kind of have the anonymity a little bit and get to operate without people knowing who you are, you do tend to miss that
Yeah.
hometown love.
You really do, honestly. I
Yeah.
remember when my husband moved out here with me at first, and he was like, "Hey, can you stop at the store and grab a loaf of bread?" And of course, I had moved away for
Yeah.
several years. I mean,
Yeah.
I was gone for probably almost a half a decade. And then I came back and I was like, "Okay, honey,
I mean, yeah.
like dinner's in 10 minutes. Like if
Yeah.
I go to the store, it's going to be an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
If
You go. Oh my gosh, this
it's
is
gonna be 30 seconds."
This is Slade and I. We do this all the time. I'm like, how much time we got? And he's like, I'll go. I was like, yeah, thank you. Not that my husband's unapproachable, but opposites attract. I have
Yes.
not had the pleasure of meeting your husband or like getting to know your husband, but
Mhm.
is he very quiet? And
He
very,
is.
Okay, yep. So
Yeah,
is my husband.
quiet, reserved.
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks that he's just the biggest asshole.
Yeah.
And he's not.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
honestly, he's the kind of guy that would do anything to help you. He would give you the shirt
Yep.
off of his back. But everybody thinks he's just such an asshole. And honestly, it's just because he's more of on the shy side.
Yeah.
So he won't come and talk to you. But if you come talk to him, he
Yeah.
will open up and have the most beautiful conversation with
Yep.
you. But he definitely has that like male version of RBF.
Yes.
That everybody's like, oh, I don't know.
Oh,
if
no,
I
I don't know about
talk to
that.
him.
Yep.
And then they're like, how are you with her? Because she's loud and she's proud and she's,
She's
so out
exuberant,
there. But
yeah.
you're right. Opposites attract.
They
And,
do.
it's
Mhm.
kind of nice to have that balance because, you and I are very similar in the fact that we're both a little high strung. We're like
Oh,
out
yeah.
there and stuff like that. And so it's also nice to come home to our peace. Like I find my
Oh.
husband is my peace.
Oh, my husband's my home.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be
100%.
anywhere. I could be in a shack in another country and it
Yeah.
would be fine. He's just my home and he's the one that grounds me. And I think, yeah, he's a shy, quiet one. And so it's easy to send him to the grocery store to get a loaf of bread
Yeah.
because he's not going to strike up a conversation with anybody. Whereas I'm
Yep.
like, oh, you're buying apples too? Hi, my name's PeeDee. How are you? Are you new to the community?
Yeah, my
so
kids hate that about me. They're like, oh
yeah.
my God, mom's talking
Takes so long to
again."
do anything. I know. So yeah, I love my husband for that reason. I definitely send him to the store.
That's amazing. We always need that person.
We always need that person.
So you have been connected to Fine Art Gala at Matthews Opera House.
Mhm.
What was the heart behind that?
Ooh, okay. So after seeing that really fancy like show
Yeah.
in Denver, I was like, I want to recreate this because we don't have a strong art community. I would
don't
say
think we do. No, and
Yeah.
now they put it down in school a lot more too.
Oh my
like there's hardly
gosh.
any art classes. So
Yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
like it's a dying art.
Really, I mean,
Really,
really,
a
no
dying
pun
art,
intended, but
yeah.
really, yeah. So that was really the heart and intention behind it. I'm like, how? And also, we have so few events in the Black Hills where we actually get to be genuinely dressed up.
For sure. And I don't know about you, but I kind of enjoy getting
I
a little
love
fancy.
getting dressed up. Also, I don't need an occasion to get dressed up. I just am gonna get dressed up because I feel good that day.
Yes.
But I wanted a reason for people to girls to buy a pretty dress, women to buy pretty dresses, men to wear a nice suit. Maybe a reason to go make a reservation at a local restaurant, have that money
Yes.
going back into the community, and also expose locals to good art.
Yeah.
We have some amazing artists in the Black Hills, but we just don't have the opportunities to be able to showcase like you do in the bigger cities or with communities with deep roots of art.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to kind of expose and expand the mindset of the Black Hills people to start introducing that to them. So that was a heart and idea behind it. And then we did a charity aspect of it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we did 30% of all the sales, and then the ticket sales went back to a local charity. And we did that year we did Grayson, the pop tag kid.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we did
Yeah.
that to help with his cancer treatment and a trip back and
Oh,
forth to
that's
Denver.
good. He's such a sweet boy.
Oh, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. So yeah, that was the idea behind the Black Hills Art Gala.
I love
Mhm.
it. I love it. So, what is the behind the scenes reality of pulling off events like that without losing your mind? Whether it's the Matthews Opera House event or even just putting together a sip and paint, because I'm sure they're two very different preparations.
I thrive. I thrive. I get lists out, girl. I get lists out, and I organize everything by date when things need to be done, what vendors I need to contact. Are there people I can onboard to help make this more efficient? As as a business owner,
Yeah.
you don't do everything; you delegate. And so, yeah, I thrive in those situations. I love the pressure, the stress of it. I love the unknowing of how many tickets you're gonna sell, like the marketing, all of it. It's really fun. It's like a good kind of stress. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
way. Like people call me a procrastinator, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, yes,
Yeah.
technically, looking at it from the outside, yeah, I am a procrastinator,
Yeah.
but it's because I do so much better if there's a little bit of pressure
A little bit of
behind it.
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need a little bit of push. And you're like, oh, I can rely on my skills to operate
Yeah.
well in the last few minutes.
And then especially just being an entrepreneur, you do feel like you almost have to do everything. Whereas like when you put that
Yeah.
pressure behind it, that
Mm-hmm.
almost forces you to be like, hey, can you
Yeah.
help me with this?
Can you help me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which truly does help the community because I don't know
Yeah.
about you. Like people always come to me and they're like, oh, I was going to ask for your help, but you seem too busy. I'm like, no, please
Please come.
do. I
Please come talk.
love when
Yeah.
people like want or need my help. Like
Yeah.
honestly, it makes me feel like
Really good.
needed,
Yeah.
honestly. Like
Which is what we
otherwise,
need in life.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to just disappear. Like I
Yeah.
want people to reach out to me. So
Exactly. Well, that's what makes community.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
think people kind of forget that and they forget to ask for help, because they're
Oh,
like, "Oh, I don't want to be shown as weak." And it's like, "No, it's
ask
not
for
weak.
help,
We
please.
are
It's not
building
weak.
community here,
It's a
honey."
strength.
Yes,
It's a strength.
100%.
When you can die to your own ego and die to your own flesh, that is a strength. So,
Yes.
yes, do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So the Beacon had mentioned, I
Oh,
was doing some research
okay.
before having you on here.
Oh, what did they say?
So the Beacon mentioned you were headed to the National Western Stock Show in Denver.
Yeah.
What was that experience like and what did it open up for you? I know we kind of touched on this a little bit because
Yeah.
it really kind of changed your artistic, it really, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, launched your whole
Yeah. So
Alexandra Hanson art.
art. Yeah. So that was a big one to so it's like the stock show basically. It was 26
Yeah.
days. I didn't realize by the end of it, I was like, why am I so sad? It was 14-hour days. I was arriving in the dark and leaving in the dark and realized I hadn't seen the sun in 26 days.
Oh my gosh, no one. And for
And
you,
I was doing
that's
it by
like,
myself. Yeah, it was
yeah.
for me. Yeah, girl, I thrive off that vitamin D.
Yes.
And so it was really interesting because I actually got to, like I said, being around here, there's not a lot of art collectors, art buyers,
Right.
things like that. We don't have a lot of art galleries. And so it exposed me to what the art industry is actually like, be able to talk to people face to face, potential collectors, collector buyers, what are they looking for? Kind of finessing my sales pitch, and just really dipping my feet into, is this something I want to do as a career?
Yeah.
Is it really realistically, is it something I want to do? And so that really launched everything from there, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
so
was
it was
like
pivotal.
a pivotal moment in your life.
Yeah, and that like the connections I made with that, I still have, gosh, I was 2022, want to say 22, 21, and I'm still getting sales and connecting with those people and have friendships from that event that continue to grow my art career where it's at today.
I love
So
that.
yeah, that was a big moment for me, I think, to go and do that. So yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's kind of going to lead into this question. What was the biggest risk that you've taken of your career so far?
In the art industry, or just like in general?
Just in general.
In general, coffee truck.
The biggest risk was
That was
buying that coffee truck,
buying the coffee
and starting
truck.
that?
Yeah, and like financially, it was a big risk because we were just young little babies at the time.
Yeah. 500 was a lot of money when you're
For a
young.
deposit,
Yeah.
yeah, and then like buying a coffee truck that cost more than my car, and then also
Right.
was like 25% of what my home was at the time that I owned. Like this was a big purchase,
Yeah.
and then like having to learn so much. I think that was the scariest risk, is because I had to be willing to grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, business wise. I had to grow so much, and so that's very daunting when you're jumping into that. Once you've done it once. And I always talk about risk tolerance. So
Yeah.
some people are really good at having a high risk tolerance and other people are not. I have a very high risk tolerance. My husband has a very small risk tolerance. And so sometimes it's like a muscle. You have
Yep.
to exercise that. And so starting that first business is very daunting because you have so much growth you have to do in so many different facets. Once you do your first business, and it's not so bad to jump into the next. You're like, okay,
Right.
yeah, there's gonna be growing pains. Cool, I can do it. I've done it once. It's fine. So I would say it really taught me just kind of go and do it.
Yeah. And having
What's the
that
worst that
support
can
system
happen?
behind you, it's like
Yeah.
how bad could it really be?
Yeah, it's not.
You just rely on your support system when
Yeah.
things get tough, and then when things are great,
Yep.
everybody's happy and celebrating.
Yep. Oh, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried for like the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I had like nervous poops for 6 months.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
morning I got up, I'm like, am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my thing, because anyways, I do coffee consulting for people who want to open their own coffee shops. And so I'm just gonna tell you, you're gonna get the nervous poops for like 6 months. You're probably gonna cry.
Yeah.
You're gonna ask why you did this. I said you're gonna make it to 1 year mark, and it's gonna get a lot better. But just know it's gonna be really hard that first year, just
Yeah.
because you don't know what you don't know, and you're learning a lot of things from so many different facets.
So
It's
can
gonna
people hire you for those consults?
They can,
They
yeah.
can?
So people
Good.
can,
I
yeah,
love
people
that.
hire me to do consult on their business all the time. So people hire me to look at their business models to see if
Yeah.
it's a viable business, because where you do your business, how you do your business determines if it's viable or if it's going to survive or not. And
Yeah.
so I love going through business plans and being like, oh, have we thought about maybe these things, or how can we make your business more efficient? So, because that's where my brain thrives in
Yeah.
those situations. And so, yeah, people hired me to do those sorts of
Oh,
things.
I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what fear do you have to push through to get to the next level? Like, do you just pull up your bootstraps and get her done?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's those Midwestern
Yeah,
roots.
Midwestern. I mean, I think you have to just rely on, you can't operate from a place of emotion and just rely on just brute force.
Yeah.
Really, just brute force is going to get you through a lot of things.
Yeah. You just have to power through it
Just power
sometimes.
through it.
Like, it's not always going to be fun.
I know that's not romantic and that's not like a fun way of saying
Right.
it, but you just do it.
Suck it up,
Yeah,
buttercup.
you suck it
That's
up and just
like
do it. Put your
saying
emotions
we
aside.
have.
But yep. Life's
Cry
hard. Get a
through it.
helmet.
Yep.
Yep, just figure it out. Yeah,
love
I know
that.
that's because if I get into my feelings or my emotions too much, you get like, decision paralysis.
Yeah, I was
But
going to say, are you like me? Like, if I get too many
yeah,
decisions to make, then I'll just like
I'll
hermit.
clam up. And
Yeah.
so it's like, well, if I can just barrel through it, I put my helmet on, I put my football gear on and like go through it, it's much easier. So that's how I approach it. I don't know if that's necessarily. And then I look back and look at the damage and then damage control, and then we're fine. It's fine. Ball in the china shop, it'll be okay. Everything's replaceable.
So what is something that you tried that didn't work, and what did that teach you?
Ooh, so I opened a boutique in Oklahoma.
Really? I did not know that about you.
So I opened a sort of a boutique in Oklahoma, and I quit before it ever got started. Really, I started it, but like when you have a new business, you are learning again so much that you need to kind of push over those humps. Be like, okay, I'm not doing this perfect. We'll perfect it later.
Yeah.
And I was really fighting with that perfectionism. Like, if I can't do it perfectly, it's not worth doing. Which, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, sometimes you just have to do it and do it to the best of your ability and figure it out as you go, or hire the people to be able to clean up your mess or do different things. And I wasn't mature enough at the time. I think I was 20 at the time. I didn't have that. I didn't have the grit to figure it out. I also didn't have the ability to get over my own perfectionism. I was getting in my own way.
Yeah.
And so that was the big part of it, was just getting in my own way and just learning that, you know what, you don't have to be perfect. You just don't have to be perfect.
Yeah. And that's what I always tell people too when they come to me super overwhelmed with either a business idea
Yeah.
or house shopping or anything for that
Yeah.
matter. I'm like, honey, it's progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Like, we are not looking for perfect.
No.
Nobody on this earth is
Yep.
perfect.
No
We
one.
just strive to be better than we were yesterday.
Yep.
And so just work on the progress.
Yep.
And then the perfection will come as you keep honing that craft.
Honing it. Yep.
You know?
Yep. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
So I quit before I even got ahead.
Gotcha.
So, and that taught me to actually put my bootstraps on for my next businesses. So
Yeah, well, it teaches perseverance. I always
Yeah.
tell people you never fail.
Yeah.
You just learn another way not to do
do
it.
it. Yeah, it's sink or swim. And that's really, I mean, and I chose to sink by choice.
Yeah.
And so it just taught me going forward. I'm like, well, I can't sink by choice. We have to swim.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that lesson for you. Okay, so you're in Aladdin, Wyoming. What is it like building a creative business from a smaller area? Because people who are probably tuning in have no idea where Aladdin is. It's hard enough for them to even know where Belle Fourche is,
Yeah.
let alone Aladdin. So can you kind
Yeah.
of elaborate with like how that drive is? Because you typically don't do a lot of sip and paints in Aladdin or a lot of art shows.
Yeah, no.
So tell the listeners a little bit about Aladdin,
Okay.
why you live there,
Yeah.
and what that's like having to commute in.
So, I have a home studio in Aladdin. I love Aladdin. I love small town living. Living in Spearfish was the first time living in town. Was not for me.
Right?
I was not a happy camper. And so our real estate agent found us this place. It was perfect. I love living out there. I can be a hermit because peopling, I call it peopling, but peopling is very draining.
Yeah.
And so I like to be able to go retreat and get away from people. Not that I don't love people, but there's a time and place for it. I can't be on all the time.
Right.
And so like I like being able to retreat out there. I very rarely come to town. Very rarely. Except for the only time I come to town is when I teach. And then I always volunteer on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are my days to go volunteer in my communities. And so those are really the only times I come to town. And then obviously I travel to big cities for my shows and stuff. But Aladdin's a town of 15 people. Very teeny weeny. The biggest we ever got was 308 people in the 1800s. So still very small. It's an old mining town. I love it. I love the sort of anonymity it gives me being
Yeah.
out there. So yeah, it's a whole other world, whole other feel, even though it's only like 20 miles from, Sundance or Belle Fourche. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love Aladdin. It's a cute little Western town.
I love Aladdin. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, my chiropractor was there, and so
Oh,
I used to go there all the
in
time.
Aladdin?
Yes.
What?
Believe it or not, when I was younger, I had an accident, and so it left me
Unwell. Yeah.
very unwell, like barely I could barely walk.
Oh my
So it was a
gosh.
pretty rough accident. And so yeah, I went there probably 2, 3 times a week
No
for
kidding.
years to see my
Wow.
chiropractor there. And then they ended up moving to Spearfish, and then they have shut down. But the one chiropractor is still in Spearfish, and I still go to him today
Oh my
from when I was 14
goodness.
years old. Yeah.
That's crazy. Just goes to show you, life takes you all over the place, man. It
Yeah.
really does. Oh, so you
Yeah.
have
Who would have
you
thought there was a chiropractic
in,
clinic in
in
a little old
Aladdin.
Aladdin?
That's so crazy.
Now,
Yeah.
granted, I mean, not to tell everybody how old I am, but that was
It's just a couple
25
years ago.
years
It's a
ago.
couple years ago. It's a couple years ago. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I love it out there, though. It's a great
It
community.
is, and you have the general store, and
Yep.
so you can get the little things that you need if you miss them.
Yep.
And
Yeah. It's just a great community, and there's a lot of transplants that live out in Aladdin, so we're just kind of a misfit out there, which I like. So
yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
good group of people.
Now, what do you think people in rural communities do better than big cities?
Love each other.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's a very simple answer, but I completely agree.
they love each other. They have each other's backs. I mean, simply put, that's it.
Yeah.
They love better.
And I mean, even living in big cities, you still have your people that you love, but
Oh,
like
for sure.
it's like 1%
Mm-hmm.
of the city, whereas
Yeah.
here it's like probably 90%.
Well, and yeah, and if you have a benefit for someone, a cancer benefit or
Yeah.
anything like that, the town shows up.
For sure.
We just know how to love each other better.
Yeah, I
Really,
agree.
truly. That's it. I mean, and like we said earlier, not everybody's gonna get along, but at the end of the day, if someone had something, go wrong, you're still gonna show up for them.
For sure. Like
'Cause you're-
hate is such a strong word. I don't like to use hate, but
No,
there's a handful of people in this town I absolutely dislike, you know,
Yeah.
whether it was from my past
Yep.
or whatever, and
Mhm.
I've grown and maybe they haven't,
Yep.
changed their life around or whatever. But I hate to like
If they needed something,
I'm
you'd
not
be
super
there.
close to them, but yeah,
Yeah.
like if their house burned down tomorrow, the first thing that I would do would be to bring them,
Yeah.
something to help rebuild their life,
Mhm.
whether we're friends or not.
Yeah.
You know.
Whether it's clothes they need or whatever it
Yeah.
is, you're gonna put that above your dislike for
100%.
someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's
I
what
think that
makes us.
just makes you just a good person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that's just a testament of our community, really.
Yeah, 100%. We were
Yeah.
just raised and built different.
We were Midwest. There we go, Midwest, honey.
I love it. If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing for small business owners in our area,
Oh,
what would that
gosh.
be?
Golly, that's a hard one. That's a thinker. In our area, specifically about Fourche or Black Hills?
It'd be Black Hills in general.
Black Hills in general. But one thing I would say for Belle Fourche specifically, I wish that we could get people to understand what we have to offer
Mm-hmm.
and get people to come here.
Yes.
And I remember I was in Spearfish a couple weeks ago. I'm like, you guys should spend a whole day in Belle Fourche. You honestly could spend a whole day in Belle Fourche now with all the new businesses we have, all the things to
Yeah.
offer, all the boutiques, all the everything we have. And they're like, Belle Fourche? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, Belle Fourche, and you're missing out on it. So if that's one thing I could do for Belle Fourche specifically is change the stigma and get more people here to actually see what we have to offer. That's what I would do. For Black Hills in general, I know our chambers do a really good job of this, but
Mhm.
I wish we could have more visibility for small businesses, for especially when they open for the first time, because there's so many new businesses that I don't even know exist. So I'm like, oh, wish we could have just one more push or one more avenue of visibility for new business owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say that is kind of one downside to being in such a small community is
Mhm.
that, we were raised, I always feel like we're about 10 years behind some of the bigger cities.
I would agree with that.
But I
yeah.
also hope that we never turn into the big cities. So
Yeah.
I'm okay being 10 years behind.
Yeah. Oh, for
personally.
sure. Yeah.
But I would say that is one thing. So, even I can easily pull this back to real estate. So I'm just going to use that as an example.
Yeah.
When I went and learned from people in larger areas,
Yeah.
there was a huge social media presence. Like you had to be a billboard online.
Yeah.
And here, when I came back to Fourche
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
I was kind of working with a few agents and they were still having like big file cabinets with these files like this. And I'm like,
Doing business by handshake.
yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like I don't know how to use that. Like I have to have everything online on
Yep.
my files, like everything, like I'm not paper,
Yeah.
and even way back in the day, it's been over 10 years now when I worked at David Pommel's, even they
Yeah.
were starting to transition to paperless. So to see that there's still just so many businesses around here
Yeah.
that don't have the knowledge or the tool set to
Yeah.
be able to,
The education to do it or don't know that it's available to them.
to run their business just a little bit more efficiently
Efficiently.
so that they can take that next step to advertise for themselves
Yeah.
online and things like that. So that is something that like it's kind of my passion project going forward is to
Yeah.
like help some of our small business owners stand
Yeah.
out. Hence why I started this podcast. I'm like,
Yeah.
how can we get your story
Yep.
and Belle Fourche's story specifically, or the whole Black Hills,
Yeah.
out to many more
In
people so
front of
that they can really
visibility.
see how
Mhm.
beautiful this area is? Because I think a lot of people just don't even know about it or hear about it. They either hear Sioux Falls or Rapid City and they think that's all to South Dakota.
Yeah,
People
that's
don't even
all.
think about Pierre and it's our state capital
Capital.
for crying out loud,
Yep.
And I'm like, so how can we like really put our area in front of other people?
And put a
And
spotlight on them.
yeah, exactly. So you
Mhm.
hit the nail on the head right there that like that's
Yeah.
something that our community needs is more push and
Yep.
visibility for our small business owners.
So much. We need so much more visibility and like you said, those tools to like be able to grow and what is the next step and how can we make things more efficient or know about new technologies that are coming out that could help our businesses. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was beautifully put.
Perfect. So going into the next steps here, if someone wanted to buy a piece of art from you, what is the best way to start? Commission, print, original? What do you prefer? I know you said that you like creative.
Yeah.
So would they just reach out to you?
Yep,
And
just reach out, email, and then I do like a interview. Basically, I interview you and
I
I
love
see
that.
if you're a good fit for me because it's
Yeah.
my business, and I just kind of see if we have the same ideas. What do you like? What about my work do you like? So I know what direction you want to go. And then if it needs to, I'll do a site visit.
hmm
So I'll come to either your commercial space or your home and see kind of what we're working with for light, 'cause that dictates how I paint, how light or dark I paint, what light
Yeah.
is available in the room. Is it artificial lighting? Is it normal lighting? So that's really just the process. It's email or call me, reach out to me on social media, and then we just kind of start the ball rolling from there. And we see if we're a good fit first. First, I want to know ya. Do I
Yeah.
like ya? Do you like me? Do we fit well together? Awesome. Then we can proceed.
Right.
That's really the crux of it because I kind of have to work really closely with you sometimes for months.
Yeah.
And if we don't get along, it's not going to be fun for anybody.
Yep.
So that's just the main of
I
it.
can totally relate to that.
Yes.
People are like, why do you talk out,
Yeah.
publicly so much? And I'm like, honestly, like I want the right people to call me to work with me.
Yeah. I want them to know what they're getting. And that's
Yeah.
just the main thing. Yeah.
Sometimes I work with people for a couple years and I'm like, I want to make sure I like these people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to make
I
sure.
tell them, because
Mhm.
we have like a buyer's agency agreement that we have to
Yeah.
sign, and I'm like, I liked where we could meet people because then
Yep.
we were like, oh well, I maybe not be a good fit for you, or you might not be a good fit for me, but at
Yep.
least we can figure that out in that first
In that first little bit.
meeting
Yeah.
process
Which is
before we commit to each other for
so
a long
important.
working relationship.
Yeah. So important. And a thing too is you might like someone personally, but maybe you don't work well together.
Yeah,
Or vice
100%.
versa. Maybe you work really well together, but on a personal level, you don't connect. So that's just a good little preliminary thing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I can understand that for
Yeah.
sure. Now, do you have a place online where you can book sip and paints, or where people can follow you for that if they want to come and do?
Yeah. So I actually just started teaching online through Patreon.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they
Tell
can
me more about this. I did see a little
yeah.
clip on a reel.
Yeah, so Patreon is a platform where people can pay a subscription every month and then they can so basically for me for Patreon, people can do their sip and paints from the comfort of their home.
Oh,
So I have like
fun.
a supplies list they can order and do all the things and they get 4 classes a month where they can just go and paint them at home by themselves or with family whatever. So I'm moving to that and so that's called Painting with PeeDee.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, and people can go on there and book me for sip and paints as well, for private events, corporate events, things like that. So
And
yeah,
that's good because we just touched base on like the fact that the world can get so heavy sometimes that you need to pull back and have that creativity.
oh
But
yeah,
sometimes people are like, oh, well, I live an hour away and it's not convenient for me to come that night on that sip and paint. I know that's what happens to me. Is I'm always
yeah.
like, oh, that's so cute. And then I'm like,
Dang, it doesn't
I
work
have
for
a
me.
prior commitment that night or
Yes.
something. So I've only had the opportunity to come to a couple of your sip and paints,
Yeah.
but I miss them and I
Yeah.
like them. So I
Yeah.
love that you did the Patreon so that way
Yeah.
people can do that. Now, do they have to show up live at that class
Nope.
or can they watch it on their own time?
Own time so they can stop, they can pause it, they can kind of work on it at their own pace, which is really, really nice. And then they can pick and choose what ones they want to do, ones they don't want to do. And so that's what the price point's nice, $5 a month. You get 4 paintings. You can decide what you want and don't want. And you're not about too much skin in the game, I suppose. And so, yeah. And it's a definitely different format.
Yeah.
So I've been podcasting for 3 years now. But being recorded while painting is so different because when you do sip and paints, you can I don't know, you have camaraderie. You can feed off the energy of the room. In there, I'm just mouth breathing and painting with myself.
Yeah.
And so very different when I'm like, what do I say? Instead of mouth breathing into the microphone while I'm painting. So that's been a really fun journey to figure that out. So
I can feel that because even as I was doing my YouTube channel, I'm like, I'm talking to my computer. It feels weird. I tell you what, this is a very fresh and new podcast. I'm having so much fun having the interaction, just chatting with people. So
yes, so
I can
fun.
completely understand that. But I also love that you went outside of your comfort zone because you are a people person.
Yeah.
But it is also so nice that you were able to pivot your business
so
that you can reach more people because unfortunately, sometimes that's what it is. We all only have 24 hours in the day.
Yep.
And really, sometimes it's how many hearts can you touch? Well, when you're trying to take the time to pack up all these supplies, order these supplies, get to the room.
There's so much planning.
Tear it down. I remember when I went to one of your sip and paints, it's just my nature to help clean up. And you're like, no, don't touch it. And I'm like, I feel weird.
No, don't touch it. Let me love you. Yeah.
It's so much work for you to do those events. So, your capability is only to do so many of those per month. So at least there you can be in your nice area away from everybody. You don't drain so much. You don't have to all the pack up and the setup and the tear down and all of that. And so I love that you're able to touch more hearts that way, even though it's not necessarily your
one-on-one.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing is I had so many people, because my audience is growing, if you will. And I had so many people like, hey, would you do a grand tour through the Midwest? So come to Omaha,
fun.
Come to Idaho, come to Washington, and come teach, do a tour and do all these classes. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then I started logistically looking at it. I'm like, that's really stressful. So
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's so much work. And I actually did go to Omaha, did a class down there, did a bunch of things. And that's when my husband said, well, how can we make this efficient? How could we bring it to them without physically bringing it to them? And that's when he said, well, why don't we do a Patreon? And I pushed back on this. He came up with this idea a year and a half ago. I pushed back on it for a year and a half until I finally gave in. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Because I love people.
I know. That was what kind of surprised me about that. But it just makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. That is the next step you want to do. But I just want to be able to physically love on my people.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you can still have your sip and paints for that. We're not taking.
Oh yeah, no, I for sure
You're
need
just
that.
helping more people,
girl. I need those. I need those just as much as I feel like our community needs them. I need them to be grounded in reality a little bit because, like I said, the fine art world's one thing, and one thing I learned about my sip and paints is those grounded and humbled me so much. I wasn't I'm like, oh, this is what life's about. It's not actually about the awards or about the whatever.
A little more fun and a little more carefree, a little not so serious.
It's not.
Sometimes we do take life so serious.
So not serious. Genuinely, life is so not serious. So it's so not serious. Go start the business, have another kid, take the risk, take the vacation. That's how life is. Just not serious. Just freaking do the thing. Yeah, that's all I can say. Is just do it. It's more exhausting dreaming about it and not doing it than it is to do it.
It's so fun to sit here and talk to you because I'm a very, I like to look at people's color personalities.
Oh, yeah.
And see if I can figure it out. And I can totally tell you're like me in that sense. You're a red. You're like, okay, we're just going to jump in and we'll figure out how to
about
swim
it. Yep.
As we go.
We're going to go. We just send it. Oh, you want me to go here? I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
Yep. So I picture you as a red yellow.
Ooh.
Because, at least the color book that I looked at, there's several different ones, but red is very determined, jump in, figure it out.
Yes.
Yellow is love your people. Yeah. And it's rare to find people who are red and yellow because usually red people are like, I don't have time. I've got to do this. I don't have
very
time
regimented.
To fluff it up.
Yeah.
And so it's odd to find someone who has both of those characteristics.
Those qualities.
Yeah. And I think it's very, very special and important. So I love that you do that. And I love that you bring it back to our community of all communities.
Well, thank you.
There's a million places in this world you could live, and the fact that you choose to come back to the Black Hills after, exploring other areas is just a true testament too.
Well, it's a testament to the people here, honestly.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a testament to the people here. So you guys just keep making me come back.
Yeah, I feel like the magic here just attracts the right people.
It does.
And not that we have people here that, maybe don't necessarily love our area, because there are people who live here
Yeah.
who are like, I hate it here.
Can't wait
And
to
it's
leave.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, they just can't,
Yeah.
financially or
Whatever it may
whatever
be. Yep.
logistically get out of here, and I feel that the right people keep coming back and they
Yeah.
stay here.
Yeah. We're like, oh, we're home finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So how you kind of touched on this, and if you don't want to get too personal, that's
Oh,
totally
hit me
fine.
with it.
How do you price your art then?
Ooh, by the square inch.
Okay.
Yep. So by the square inch. So a smaller painting, you price more per square inch.
Right.
The larger
Right.
you go, cheaper per square inch. So there's just a formula to it, and it's just a sliding scale.
Okay.
So super easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Much
I
better
like
than
that.
throwing darts at the wall.
Yeah. Well, and you had talked about, you're like, oh, I love this piece, so I should
Yeah.
price it here or there. And
Because
then
your
you
emotion gets into the decision. Don't let
Yeah.
your emotion get into the decision. That's the business part of it.
100%. And I tell even real estate agents the same thing. I say, when you are getting ready to sell your house, because nobody hires someone to sell their house for them when they're
Yeah.
an agent, because
yeah.
it's expensive,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
So when they're pricing their own home, I always tell them, I'm like, get a second opinion,
Yes.
because your heart
Is in
will
the
kind of
decision.
mess with the pricing just a
Yeah.
smidgen when it's your own house, or even when
Yeah.
it's a relative's house or a best friend's house.
Yep.
It never hurts to just get that second opinion. And so I love
Yeah.
how you touch base on that, where you talk to some other artists about
Yeah.
how they do it. Because it is tough when you have emotional
Connection to it. Yeah.
to price it the right way.
And what's so funny in the art world is I'm like, this piece is amazing. It's going to sell so fast. I love it. My heart's in it. And then the one that you don't spend any time on, that's the one that sells. And I'm like,
Right?
and then I feel guilty. I'm like, I can't believe I sold that piece for that amount of money.
Right.
Whereas like the one you have like your heart and soul into, you're like, I should charge 4 times that because it has my heart, but that's the one that's not going to sell.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
And it took you 2 years of thought process behind it to plan it.
To
And then you're like,
plan
oh,
it.
that was 2 years that I'm not getting paid for.
Oh, I had
essentially, if you
yes.
think about it.
I had a show of this this museum in Oregon reached out. They said, hey, we need 4 pieces from you. We'll decide which one we want. I said, okay. I sent them 3 banging pieces. They were superb, if I can say so myself. And then I was like, well, I have 12 hours to the deadline. I can do one more painting.
Right.
So and this painting took me 45 minutes. I blitzed it out and I'm like, it's not as good as the other ones. I'm going to throw it into the. They only chose that one. That was the
Really?
one they chose. That's the one they auctioned. That's the one that did as amazing as it did. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is stupid. So it just goes to show you just never know.
That's awesome, though.
Your view of the world's so different than everybody else's view of the
Right?
world. And just don't overthink it. Move on. So,
Right?
yeah.
Sometimes just winging it is
Just
the best way to go
wang it.
sometimes. Yeah.
Wang it, girl.
So what should someone know before they commission a custom piece?
Be honest with me. Be open with me. If you have a specific idea, share it with me because I can't pull what's in your brain out.
Right.
So if you can have some photos, have some reference material for me. I think the common misconception is that people think that they're really good at communicating and articulating their ideas, and they're just not. I have learned that people are really not good at articulating their ideas.
Right.
So just be as helpful to me as you can be.
Yeah.
That's my biggest, yeah.
I feel like that's the hairstylist, like, worst nightmare is someone
Do
coming in
what
and
you
saying,
want.
Oh, or just
I-
saying, I want this, this, and this, and then
Yeah.
they do this,
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 and
and
this,
this.
and it's like, that's not what
What
I
I
wanted.
wanted. This is what I wanted. We're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool.
Yep, that's why I
Mhm.
had to show up with a picture. I'm like, I don't know how to explain it,
But this
something
is what
like
I want.
this.
Yep, this is what I want. Yep,
Yep.
that's exactly. Yes.
So do you have clients that come to you with, like, say, a Pinterest board that they're like, oh, hey, I love all of this.
Yep.
Like, create something for me
Yeah.
with this vibe, this style.
This style,
if,
but
if
yeah,
it's for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, and you're welcome to have. You can tell the ones that are like, I want exactly this.
Mhm.
They're not my clients.
Right.
The ones that are like, I kind of want this, but I want your touch on it. Sweet.
Yes.
Yep. So that's a lot. I have so many Pinterest boards and so many different things. Yeah.
So you like direction and creative freedom.
If I want direction, but I don't want so much direction I feel
Right.
suffocated. That's the main thing. But I love my clients that are like, do what you want. That's
Yeah.
my favorite. I had two pieces. They were 5 feet by 5 feet, and she's like, I just love Western art. You're good at Western art. Great for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank you. Okay,
Was
I
that
absolutely
one
will.
Was that one that you put on a rock mantle of a fireplace?
No, so that client I've been working with, so they've been custom building their home for 6 years.
Okay.
They own 8 of my pieces. I
Okay.
have 3 more pieces to paint for them for a collection. She is great. She's like, okay, I don't care what you. She was also another one that said, don't care what you do. She said, this is what I don't like. This is what I loved about her. And she didn't tell me what she liked. She told me what she didn't like.
Okay.
And that kind of helped build the parameters about around what I wanted to do. And then I pitched her a couple ideas, and she sort of loosely picked one. And she said, "I'm loosely picking this one, but go with what you want." And so when I'm working with custom home designers or things like that, I got samples of her cabinets, her flooring, because it's open concept floor plans. So I had to marry the kitchen with the living room. And art's a really good way to marry those spaces together. So I got all the cabinetry from her kitchen, because she had 3 different colors of cabinetry, her 2 different colors of granite countertop, her tile, her backsplash, and her fabric for her pillows and couch. And then I used all those colors to make that specific piece for that client.
That's
So
amazing. See, I don't think people even realize the thought process that goes in
it's a
before you
lot.
even get started.
Before, yeah, I color matched everything, and so I had a whole sheet of color match, and I had notes off to the side of what colors I mixed to achieve that color, and then got approval of that from the client. And so, and then I went wild with it. So that I love that client. She's amazing. So yeah, she's a really cool one.
And I love that you share your kind of creative process online through your social media, because I watch that a lot.
Oh, do you?
Where yes, I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's more important to see the thought process and the love and the time that goes in behind the
The
scenes
heart.
than just the finished product.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I love that about your social media. Like, I wish I could see more of that from you. Is
Yeah.
just kind of like you mixing the paints,
Yeah.
to come up with those custom colors.
Yeah.
Or like you even, like, I would love to see a reel of you having all of these samples out on a table and how you like visually pull it and then you pull your paints in and stuff.
And mix them
Yeah,
and
I
all the
love when you
things.
show that creative
Oh.
process behind the scenes.
I'm like, do people really care about this? And I'm like,
I
I
do.
care about it, so I'm gonna post it. And and nothing else is for me to look back on in a few years and be like, you did that, girl.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to be your own hype person.
Yep, toot your own horn.
Toot
all
your
the
own
time.
horn. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what is your dream project if budget and time were not a factor at all?
Oh, my dream. Oh, I'll probably achieve this in a couple years. I want to teach internationally. So what I would love is I would love to go
Ooh.
to Spain. Probably Spain. Spain's probably the place I'd want to go. And I want to take a group of like 10 artists or 10 people that want to learn more about my process and learn more about art. And honestly, just pour into them for a week. Let's go to a villa in
Like
Spain.
a little retreat,
Like a
type
retreat,
thing,
an art retreat.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's really where I'd want to, and just really spend one-on-one time with people. I think that's like my goal, my dream.
Does anybody even do that? I've never heard of that before. I've heard of like yoga retreats, and of course
Yeah.
I've done wellness retreats before, but
Yeah.
I've never heard of an art retreat.
So they're starting to catch on now,
Okay, cool.
which is great. And so they're slowly making their way. I don't know if I'd go through a company or if I just organize it myself, because I
I
travel
think-
a lot
yeah.
internationally. So I'd be comfortable planning it myself. So yeah. So like stay tuned, because that will probably happen someday off in the future. So
I
because
think-
I would love to do it internationally.
Yeah, I
give
think
people
that's
a reason.
amazing to pull someone out of their own like
Yeah.
comfort zone and their own reality
Oh,
to
yeah.
open up those creative juices in a
Mhm.
completely different environment.
And be inspired by what's
Yeah.
around them. Honestly, being in a whole other country, you don't know the language, you're not used to their architecture, you're not used to their food, you're not used to the customs, is really a place for creative juices to start flowing,
Yeah.
because it totally alters your entire reality.
Yeah, you have to think.
You have
Like,
to
it's
think,
not
yeah.
so structured like it is
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
taking in so much information that it has to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, so,
I
yeah,
love
so that'd be
that.
like one of my dreams. Mhm.
Okay, before we get to the rapid fire questions,
okay.
is there anything that you want to share with our listeners?
Mm.
How they can follow you? Of course, I'll have all of that detailed as well.
Yeah,
But
just come along for the ride. Come join me on social media. If I can leave you with anything from the podcast, is find what you're passionate about in life, and that's your purpose. That's how everybody has the same purpose in life. I feel like I don't mean to like dog on this, but I feel like there's so many coaches that will try to shove something down your throat online that'll be like, in this 12-week course, you're going to try to find your purpose.
yeah,
And I don't agree with that. I think everybody has the same purpose, and the same purpose is to love on people. It's just how you love on people is going to look different. And so find the thing you're passionate about and use that to love on people. And
I
that's
love
your
that.
purpose. And I don't get wrapped up in being like, well, I don't have this huge identity. Or I feel like we all have an existential crisis at some point. Maybe it's in our 20s. I have no idea. Maybe you reinvent yourself when you're 50 and you're like, oh, I don't know my purpose. Your purpose is to love on people, but in your own unique way.
yeah,
So that'd be my thing. Don't get caught up in all the labels of life.
I love that.
Yeah.
And don't go spend $20,000 on some coach to find your purpose.
Please don't, or you can spend the $20,000 with me and I can just send you this podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so these ones are meant to be fast.
Okay.
And
Oh,
these are my
I'm excited.
favorite.
Okay.
Okay, rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite place to eat in Belle Fourche?
Ooh, in Belle Fourche, Los Agaves.
Favorite place to eat in Spearfish?
That one's Antonia's, sorry.
Oh, I haven't been there. We keep
You
talking
haven't?
about going, and I've never been there yet.
Oh, okay. So you need to go to Antonia's and you need to get the beef chile Colorado tacos.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
You'll see in color for the first time after you eat that meal, so you're welcome.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to do that because
Yeah.
we keep saying it, and then
Do
we
it.
keep driving by, and I'm like, oh,
Make it happen.
Okay.
It'll change your life.
it's on my list now.
Yes.
Okay, favorite Black Hills view when you need a reset?
I don't know if I can describe where this is at. So it's going to be just a backcountry road behind Lookout
Okay,
Mountain. I love it. I grew up over in that area, and I just like to go up there. And the road is like impassable because they don't maintain it.
right?
And I love going up it and sitting like in the back of my car and just watching the sunset.
I know exactly where you're talking about because we took our Jeep up
Oh,
there
did
a couple of
you?
times and almost tipped it on the side because there was
The
such
ruts
bad
are
ruts.
so bad. That's where I like to go. And because you know what? I guarantee
else
no
is
one's going to be there because
Exactly.
it's going to ruin their car.
Yep.
It's going to ruin their car. So I'm like, you know what? I don't even care if I bend a wheel or whatever. I'm going to be up here. Gosh darn it. So
Yes.
that's my favorite spot.
I love that. One local business you think deserves more hype?
Ooh, deserves more hype. That's a hard one. That's a rapid fire. I feel
That's a
like
rapid
that's
fire.
a thinker. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm biased, but I feel like the Vine and Spearfish.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the Vine.
The Vine is
we
a
can give 'em some
Christian-based
hype.
coffee shop.
Okay.
And there's just so much love there. Their baked goods are phenomenal. Their focaccia changed my
Mhm.
life. And just really solid people.
Yeah, because it used to be
Ruby's
the
Roost.
Roost.
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
And so we went in there
Yep.
multiple times, and then I didn't realize that it changed hands
Yep.
because my office used to be right upstairs
Oh, you were?
from there.
Oh.
Yeah. And so then I came back to Belle because it was just closer and easier.
Yeah.
And then my husband and I went over there the other day, and I said, "Oh, let's go to Ruby's Roost."
Yeah.
And it was no longer Ruby's Roost, and I was
No.
like, "Oh,
Did you go in
geez."
there?
Yeah, we did,
Oh.
and we loved it. It was just the cutest
So
little place.
cute.
Yeah,
I
you can
love
tell
it.
there was just a lot of love, and people were in there just happy, good coffee, good
Good vibes.
baked goods.
Yeah.
Yep,
Good
loved it.
people. Yeah. So that'd be one just because I'm biased. I
Good.
love it there.
I love that. No, thank you for bringing that up because, like I said, I didn't even realize it was there.
Yeah.
So.
I love that. Oh, and then Rapid City. Sorry, I'm gonna give you two more.
Go for
Rapid
it.
City, Makwale, really good Mexican restaurant. So good. And then Belle Fourche, if I can say this, are flower shops.
Yeah,
Are flower shops because they have such amazing gifts in there.
they
So
do.
amazing gifts.
I don't
And
think people realize that it's not just flowers. There's
No.
so many other things
they're
that they can buy
boutiques.
in there. Yeah,
They're
and
amazing.
people always think there's no shopping in Belle, and it's like, oh, there is.
There's a butt ton
There
of shopping.
is.
And our pharmacy,
Mm-hmm.
amazing gifts.
Yeah.
Amazing gifts in our pharmacy, which is crazy to say, but yeah.
Right. I know because you think pills.
Yeah, you
But-
think pills, yeah. You
yeah,
don't think
it's
ice cream
super
and
cute
boutique
in
and all
there.
the things. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, sorry, that was a
absolutely.
lot. There
No,
was a lot. But I was
that's
started
okay.
thinking about that, mulling it. I'm like, I
We
need to add a few more. I need to sprinkle them.
Well, we have a lot of really cool little communities around here, so it's
Yes.
kind of unfair to just have to pick one.
I know you said black pills. I'm like, there's so much.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Okay, song that instantly puts you in a good mood.
Oh, a song. Oh, any classical music.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Classical music all day long.
huh. I would
Mhm.
have not guessed.
Yep.
that.
Yep. I love like Lindsay Sterling. I love Bach, Chopin. Classical music. So crazy. I know. But also I'm very eclectic. I'm very an eclectic music listener.
I was gonna say, like, I pictured you as being like not necessarily a Swiftie, but like just having a rough day and dancing to shake it off while you're painting. Like, I don't know why, but that's just what I pictured when I had this question. I was like, I think that's what she's gonna answer.
Oh, okay. I
So
think
classic.
classical music like massages my soul. Maybe that's a better way. If I'm gonna be like a pom pom, I love like remixes and so like remixes of stuff like with a heavy beat.
Okay.
I don't want to say
perfect.
EDM, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
no. I love that. All right. Biggest pet peeve at a local event.
Oh, pet peeve at a local event? Not having good sound system or like the acoustics being bad. I want to know what you're saying. If I'm at your banquet, I'm at your wedding, I'm at whatever, make sure your sound is good. If you don't have good acoustics, get those little sound things that make
Yeah.
it sound better. That's my biggest pet peeve. Girl, yeah, that's my pet peeve.
I hear the same thing like when I look at YouTube channels. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even
I can't
understand what
hear
you're
you.
saying. Yeah,
Yes, please. So that's my big thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Oh, kiss my husband.
Oh.
And then and then I go and take care of my dogs.
Yep.
That's like I'm regimented. Yeah, I kiss my husband, get a drink of water, take care of my dogs.
Love it. One word your friends would use to describe you.
Energetic.
I love that.
Probably
Yeah,
energetic. Yeah,
I think
feel like
that's
that.
spot on.
Yeah. That's what I think.
If you had one free day in the hills, where are you going to go and what are you going to do?
Ooh, one free day in the hills. That's a good one. Honestly, I probably would go to Moccasin Springs.
Mm,
I just love that. I love the
very
drive.
underrated. I think more people need to
Yes.
know about that.
So I would go to Moccasin Springs, and then I would probably, there's so many great eateries in Hot Springs and Keystone and Custer, that you can go and do. So I'd probably go and eat at one of those little fancy, nice little micro, what are they called? Like the micro eateries. So
Yeah.
yeah.
They've got a very small, tasteful menu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very intentional menu, like
Yes.
locally sourced, all the things. So
I
yeah,
love it.
that would be my day.
All right. Well, that was my
That was
last
it.
question.
Well, thank you so
That
much for
was
having
so
me.
awesome. Yes. I know it's going
Yeah.
to be a long one. We'll either split it into a
Sorry.
couple or we may just leave it long. We'll roll with the punches.
You take what you need from it, girl. I mean, I know I'm
Absolutely.
a yapper. I like to yap. So.
I know, and I knew this was going to be a good one for that.
Oh, well,
So-
thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you for
Yes.
having me. Thank you for coming on the show. Geez, clearly I need to have more coffee.
Well, thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. PeeDee, thank you so much for coming on and for being so open about the behind the scenes parts of art, business, creativity, and the community. I think a lot of people will walk away from this episode feeling both inspired and even a little bit braver to tackle their own art. If you are listening and you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you follow PeeDee, check out her art, and keep an eye out for her upcoming shows and painting classes. If her schedule doesn't work out for you, I encourage you to sign up for her Patreon. Supporting local artists and the people who pour back into our community really does matter. And if you love hearing stories of the people who make the Black Hills what it is, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who loves this place as much as we do. This is the Black Hills Insider, and I'm Falina Selcher. I'll catch you on the next episode.